Yeah, that's wild. Hell no.
Ain't it, man? Crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely wild. Um, all right, it is 7:34. Let's see. I'll preach how about Shemel was shy. Yeah, Shemai, we're gonna go live on the we'll go live on the YouTube as well. So we just want to start right now. We ain't waiting for no damn body. Olivia Williams, Shalom. Mighty Kudash Shalayim. Oh yeah, that's the picture you had. You was in where? Jerusalem, Israel.
Con, yup. I was in Jerusalem, yup. Definitely cut that either. Yeah,
It seemed like a traveling man, King. So that's
con,
definitely a
con,
blessing.
con. Absolutely.
Definitely a blessing, King. So all praise Yahweh Shemiah was shy. Um, making sure we have it for HOI class. Here we go. Change this real quick. We're gonna get right into it. Right into it. All right, double, you hear me?
Con, con.
All right. So first off, all praise Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Shalom, Shalom family. Um, we are back again with another HY Thursday night class. Teacher tonight will be me, Brother Ahrayah. The reader tonight will be Brother Dawadah, Miami, HOI Miami, by the grace of God. Traveling man, more dangerous than the Taliban.
Con.
Traveling man, more dangerous than the damn Taliban. Or more explosive than the Taliban. I'll say that, with the words of the Lord, man. So hopefully brothers and sisters become edified, especially for this class. We're continuing with the series, which is the deception of Islam. We already did 2 parts. Now we at part 3. So just wanted to keep the series going, just attacking the wickedness and exposing the wickedness of the Muslims, Islam, and all their lies and deceptions about their Quran, about, their hadiths, and the things they have fed our people, lies, and so many things they have done that is not really talked about. One of the biggest slave trade is, we always talk about the transatlantic slave trade, but people never really mention as much, sub-Saharan slave trade, Arab slave trade, right? Never mention, Ishmael and how vicious they were towards us. The Arabic people today here in America, how much hatred they have towards us. And they try to disguise it sometimes. Even from the music, the rappers, the way they do with us pertaining to business. Right? So much things that they do. And then they boast, talk about their prophet Muhammad, talk about the Quran never been changed. It's never been tampered with. So much lies. Even what happened with Dubai, right? The Lord bringing judgment on them in Dubai as well too. Anything pertaining to those that have touched the children of Israel, the Most High brings judgment. Now, we might not see it or even pay attention to it, or our people don't even care. But those that's keeping the laws and commandments of God, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, starting to wake up to the truth of who they are, for every one of us that wake up, the Lord brings judgment upon our enemies. All right? And it's a beautiful thing to see. Because the way the Most High operates is with judgment as a person, judgment as a country, and judgment as a nation. So, same as the Lord put the whole children of Israel in captivity for the sins of our forefathers, same as the Lord is going to be judging these nations for the sins of their forefathers. Khan?
Con.
Yeah.
Con.
Yeah. So the Lord is bringing judgment, man, whether we like it or not. And now is our time, to see these judgments, but at the same time, we got to be ready. We got to be prepared. And right now, we don't need guns right now. We don't need tanks. We don't need nuclear bombs. Now, we're in war, but there's different levels of war. There's different atmospheres, categories of war. There's a cyber war, internet war, music war. There's war for the mind. There's war when it comes to, biochemical wars and all of this stuff. There's wars on, prices, food prices, jobs, and all these different things. But we're at war. But the weapons that we have for our war is the Bible, is the truth. Right? There's a spiritual war. There's a war of information. And right now, the battlefield where we're at right now is the war of information. And that's by us teaching the Bible, the laws and the commandments of God, and the truth of the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But then also exposing the lies that our people have been taught for generations, for decades, for years. We've been here in America for 400 years. And people are just talking about Christianity, right? As the wars of lies. But it's not just Christianity, it's also Islam, the Muslims, right? So, all praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Hopefully, brothers and sisters get edified tonight, right? But before we start that class on the deception of Islam, part 3, the pedophile prophet Muhammad, just want to do a quick 10-minute, up to date, anything that we got going on at HOI. We're working on the schedule as a monthly schedule. We'll have all the teachers lined up throughout the whole month for the Tuesday class, the Wednesday class, and the Thursday class, right? Everybody already know Friday and Saturdays, all throughout HOI, House of Israel, the camp within itself, we have different camps, times that they start their camps and everything, from HOI Philly all the way HOI Illinois, New York, Vegas, right? We'll deal with that another time, but just giving y'all announcements of, coming out with a schedule. If we want to do it like a monthly thing, every month, at least everybody will know Tuesdays and Thursdays who's going to be teaching this week. What's going to be the name of the lesson that you're going to have to look forward to, right? And want to set it up for the whole month. Right now, I got about 90% of the teachers locked in for this month. So just 1 or 2 more days, and then we'll have everything set up, and I'll put it like calendar format and able to give it to everybody within the camp and the congregation, so we can have everything a bit more organized ahead of time. Khan?
Con.
Con.
So we can organize a bit ahead of time. Another update as well. The elders of Bach already put the next Passover for next year will be April 11th, 2025. All right, let me just show it on the Facebook real quick. Some quick updates. Just keep everybody in the loop. So, April 11th. There we go. All right, let me share the screen. Okay. Can y'all see the screen?
Con.
Con.
All right. So the Elder Zabak already put Shalom early announcement. HOI Passover 2025 will be in Chicago, Illinois, Friday, Sabbath, April 11th, 2025. All right. So just give you an update. And for the color scheme, let's see. There we go. Shows it right here. For the sisters, it'll be light gray, silver, and black. All right. That's for the sisters. Light gray, silver, and black. Now, main color is light gray, black, and silver accents. For the brother, it'll be the same color scheme, but the emphasis will be on the black and the silver. Huh?
Salaki.
There it says.
I had left for a minute. What's this for?
This is for the Passover next year. It will be in
Oh,
Chicago.
okay. Could you say the colors again?
For the sisters, it'll be once again for the sisters, it will be light gray, silver, and black.
Okay.
All right.
Light gray, silver, and black. Okay.
You got it, sis?
The water.
Uh, light gray, silver, and black. All right. For the brothers, it'll be the same thing, but it'll be black and silver. More emphasis on the black and silver. Con?
Yeah.
Done.
So that'll be for next year. So, the elder was speaking with us about it. Want to plan things ahead of time. So everybody got a year ahead of plan, everything set up mentally, spiritually, physically, how to, organize your finance and everything, plan everything ahead. So you know exactly on this day, April 11th, boom, the Passover is going to be around that time. Right? You already know the location. It'll be in Chicago, Illinois. And then we'll work on the different things we got to work on to find the place, the venue, and everything. But just knowing ahead of time, the location will be in Chicago next year. All right. Another thing as well, May 7th, which is Tuesday. The Tuesday that's coming up, May 7th, sundown, will be the new moon service. It'll be the new moon. I know it came by quick as hell, fast as hell, but these feast days, everything is speeding up. So April 7th will be the new moon. Con?
Con.
All right.
Con.
And then another thing as well, Saturday, May 18th. Right? Saturday, May 18th, we'll be having the usual, second time we're doing it ever. HOI Sabbath class. Mandatory HOI Sabbath class. The elder will send a link for the Zoom, for all HOI, and we definitely expect everybody to be there. All right. So it'll be a mandatory HOI Sabbath class. I'll keep you up to date with the time, what time we're going to start and everything. Most likely around 12 o'clock or 12:30, but it'll be a mandatory HOI Sabbath class. All right. We did our first one, I think that was about 2 weeks ago. It was a heck of a class. It was good to hear from everybody or chop it up a bit. We all did our Sabbath class together. All right. Whatever time people had to go to camp, they had to wait. We had to all come together, join in for that Zoom link. Let's enjoy the class. Con?
Con.
Con.
So
Con.
definitely about, improving and increasing more and more unity within the body of House of Israel. We just continue to get better and better. Any other updates, whatever I could think of, probably I'll address it at the end of the class. But so far right now, April 11th, 2025 will be the Passover in Chicago, Illinois. Working on a monthly pertaining to having all the teachers locked in for Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every Wednesday is going to be Kasadia. He's going to be teaching. He did a beautiful lesson last night last night as well. So every Wednesday, he's going to be teaching every Wednesday. We'll send you out a link for that as well too. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I got it 90% locked in for the teachers we're going to have for the month of May. And then we'll do the same process again for June, July, August, and so on and so forth. Con?
God.
Con.
So all praises, all praises. One day at a time. Hopefully,
All right.
brothers and sisters, is hype. Beautiful Passover. It was glorious. It was great to see everybody there. It was a beautiful time, and everything was beautiful, perfect timing. People looking majestic. I was confused the whole night. Are we in the Passover or are we in the kingdom? I didn't know what to think, man. Yeah. So it was great to see everybody there, man. It was great to see everybody there. All right. Go ahead, sis.
I was actually in my hometown, and my aunt, I got ready at her house because she lived 7 minutes away from where the Passover was at.
Oh, praises.
Yep.
Oh, well, you was fortunate, sis. That's a blessing. You was fortunate. Because you
Yep.
had some of us, we had to drive tooth and nail and cross towns and gates and realms and cities and galaxies, to get there. So that's a blessing, sis. That's definitely a blessing.
Con.
All right, so let's get to it, man. Tonight's class, once again, is called The Pedophile Prophet Muhammad. Right? This is part 3 of the series, The Deception of Islam. If you want to catch part 1 and 2, you go to your YouTube on HOI class, and it's there. It's recent classes is there. You can find it. But tonight is part 3, and shout out to Kadash Alahayim, for the promo. Did a hell of a job with it. Did a hell of a job. So right now we're going to be banging on these Muslims on Islam, and we snatching kufis this year. Yeah, we snatching kufis, man. All right, family, so let's get to it. Let me share this video first. And Dawud, let me get Luke chapter 12 and verse 2.
God.
And hold that real quick. Hold on, Luke chapter 12 and verse 2. Shit. All right, so what y'all about to hear? Lord of mercy. All right. All right, let me share the screen. Shalom, can anybody hear me clearly?
God.
Khan?
Con.
All right. So we're going to be talking about Muhammad. Now, a lot of people think we just going to talk about with him with Aisha and all of that. He married a little girl and everything, right? We're not just going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything that this demon devil bastard was doing. Right? And it's nothing new under the sun. Same as with these Catholic priests, pastors, same as everybody's talking about the Dalai Lama that we was talking about last year. Same as people talking about Nickelodeon with the kids being molested. Like Orlando, I forgot the dude name, the young teenage star that was with That's So Raven. Orlando Brown, right? Same as everybody talking about Diddy, P. Diddy. And how they talking about Clyde Davis, right? But now tonight is the night for the Muslims, for Islam. Because their prophet Muhammad, we about to find out some stuff about him. Let me share the screen. Can y'all see the screen?
God.
All right. And what the title of this video says, Kissing Little Boys. Did Muhammad have homosexual inclinations? Let's get Luke chapter 12, verse 2 first out.
God. This is the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 2. When you get it, say Khan.
All
Khan.
right. Khan, bring it out, King.
For there is nothing covered that shall be revealed, neither hid that shall be known.
Right. So the Lord said there's nothing covered that shall be revealed. Right. Everything is going to be exposed in these times. Everything. The wickedness, the deception, the lies. Right. People being deceived. Everybody talking about the Christianity and the book of the Christians and Christ as a white man. And now people find out he's black. But what about these Muslims? Everybody talking about Christ, people criticizing Yahweh, all of this stuff. But what about Muhammad? Why people don't really focus on Muhammad? Didn't Muhammad say he's the last prophet? All right. Well, if you're the last prophet, why are you conducting yourself like this if you're the last prophet? Let me get Psalms 85 and verse 11.
Khan.
If you're the last prophet, why you live this type of lifestyle? If you're a prophet of God. Let me get Psalms 85 and verse 11.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 85 and verse 11. When you get it, say Khan.
Khan.
Khan. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven.
Right. So it said, truth is going to spring forth out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. What is that truth? In these times now, with ages that we're in right now, technology, all this information, even with the AI, right? All these different programs is exposing the things that people are not even looking for. Research, right? Look what's happening to the mosque. Recently, they had a shooting at the mosque in Philadelphia, right? Look at the Muslims in Saudi Arabia. Look at the Muslims talking about they're in Mecca and how the Lord just keep plaguing them every year, nonstop. Look what happened in Dubai. The Lord brought a flood in Dubai and he hit the place again, back to back. Right? Every nation that put us in slavery, they're going to pay. They're going to pay. Khan?
Khan.
Now, people might say, hey, this man is a prophet. What's going on? He's supposed to be a prophet of God. Now, let me get Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. Let's see who the Most High said the prophets are. Let's get Amos 3 and 7. Bring it out when you got it, King.
This
Are you
is
on
the
mute,
book.
Ak? Khan.
Salakia, Khan, Khan.
Oh, you got
This
it.
is the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. When everybody get it, say Khan.
Khan.
Khan. Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants and the prophets.
Right. So the Lord revealed his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Now, what are these secrets? What is the Lord revealing unto us in these last days? The secrets that these people have been hiding from us. The secret of Muhammad and his lies and his lifestyle, his deception. Let's get Amos 2 and 11 now.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 2 and verse 11. And I raised up your sons for prophets, and your young men for Nazarites. It is not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith Yahweh.
Read that again, Ak. It said what?
Khan. And I raised up your sons for prophets, and your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith
Right.
Yahweh?
Right. So the Lord is speaking to who? Only the children of Israel. Khan?
Khan.
So if the Lord is speaking only to the children of Israel, what happens? Check this. This is Surah 3, which is Ali Imran, and ayah number 3, right? It says, he has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book in truth, confirming what came before as he revealed the Torah and the gospel. You see what it says? He revealed the Torah and the gospel. That's where? In the Bible. God?
Come.
So the
Con.
Torah and the gospel, right? He says confirming what came before it. So they're talking about the book in truth, what came before it. The Torah and the gospel. That's the Bible. Right? And now pertaining to the prophets, read that verse again, King.
Con. And I raised up your sons for prophets, and your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith
See?
Yahweh?
Right. So now he's speaking about who? The children of Israel. Right? The prophets are the children of Israel. Now, people might get it confused and misconstrued, but now let's go to the book of truth, which was revealed of the Torah and the gospel. Right? Let's get Genesis chapter 17. And let's go
Con.
straight to verse number, let's get verse number 18.
Con. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 17 and verse 18. When you get it, say Con.
Con.
18. Con. And Abraham said unto Yahweh, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
Right? So that Ishmael might live. Read on.
And Yahweh said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant.
Right. So
And
the
with
Lord
his
said, Slaki, the Lord says he's going to establish a covenant with Isaac, an everlasting covenant. Con?
God.
Isaac. Right? Read on. Right?
And I
Read on.
will Salaki.
Con.
And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as
Right?
for Ishmael,
And as for Ishmael, what happens?
I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation.
Right? So the Lord says he's going to bless Ishmael, multiply him, and make him a great nation. Now read the next verse.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac.
With who?
With Isaac.
So what came before the Quran? The Bible. Now, if the Bible is the original source, and the Bible says the covenant is going to be with Isaac and not Ishmael, and the prophets is only of Israel, right? Now let's go to the Quran. Let's go to Surah chapter 4 and verse 1 ayah, which is verse 163. If y'all can see the swing, say Khan.
Khan.
So
Come.
look what it says. Indeed, we have sent revelations to you, O prophet, as we sent revelations to Noah and the prophets after him. We also sent revelations to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and his descendants, as well as Jesus, Job, Jonah, Aaron, Solomon, and David gave the Psalms. There are messengers whose stories we have told you already, and others we have not, and to Moses, Allah spoke directly. Now, if you already read the Bible first, and then you read the Quran with this verse, who's not supposed to be in that sentence?
Ishmael.
Ishmael.
Exactly. Right? Because they go from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, from Jacob on down, you have Jesus, who's Christ, Job, Jonah, Aaron, and Solomon. But what came first? The Bible or the Quran? The Bible. So now what can happen? People can take information and change it up. They can rewrite history, but they need an original source first. What happened with Ishmael? Ishmael got kicked out with his mother Hagar, and he was fed up. He was mad because the covenant was not for him. He got a covenant, he got a contract, but it's not the contract that the Most High gave for Isaac. Isaac got a better contract because Isaac's contract was from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. What was that contract? Prophethood, laws, commandments, the kingdom of heaven, rulership, everlasting covenant. That was for Isaac on down to Jacob, whose name got changed to Israel. God? But now Ishmael is pissed off. So now what happened? Ishmael descendants all the way down to the timeline of who? Muhammad comes in, learn the ways of the Israelites, converts like it's a religion when it's actually a lifestyle and it's a bloodline. Right? Now he decides to make himself as the last prophet. But coincidentally, who was one of the latest prophets before Muhammad came into play? Yahushua, Christ. Now, Muhammad wanted to switch roles and take away Yahushua, take away his rulership, take away his majestic ways that the Lord blessed him with as the Messiah of the Lord for the children of Israel. And now he fits himself in that situation, in that story. Right? Guess who else tried that? Nimrod. Nimrod knew about the prophecies. He knew that there's going to be the Most High going to send a Messiah in the last days, and he's going to gather the people, right? And also he's going to have with him what? The thousands of angels. Nimrod knew about the prophecies. Why? Because who was Nimrod's father or grandfather? It was Ham, right? And then from Ham on down to who? Canaan. So Nimrod was a heathen Hamite that knew the prophecies of the children of Israel on down to these times. He knew about the Messiah, all of this stuff. So all throughout different lifetimes, throughout different time periods, people always try to play the role of Yahushua. They always try to play the role of the chosen. But the time always comes when they get exposed. Time?
God.
Everybody want to be the Messiah. Everybody want to be the chosen. Everybody want to have next. But the people that really got next in these times don't know that they got next. But sooner than later, they wake up and everybody got to pay now. Everybody got to pay now. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob on down, all the way to David. Now for the Muslims, they say for Jesus, they'll say Isa. They'll say for Job, they say Job. Right? For Jonah, Aaron, Solomon, same thing. They'll switch up the names, make it sound even more fancy. But these names are the names of Israelites, not Ishmaelites. All right? Even down to David, who they talk about in the book of Psalms. All of this they get from the Bible, and then they translate it and remix it in their Quran. But we not messing around, man, because truth gonna be spread out all throughout the earth. And the Bible is a weapon. Let me get Hebrews 4 and 12. This truth is a weapon. All right? Hebrews 4 and 12, King. Bring it out when you got it, King.
Hey, Salakia, can you repeat that?
Yeah, let me get Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. Yeah, Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. You got it, you can bring it out, King.
Khan, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 12. When everybody get it, say Khan.
God.
God.
Con.
For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
Right. So this truth, the Bible, it brings history, right? It brings wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And it also exposes what the heathen have done unto us throughout time. This is all records. What is one of the biggest things? Let me get Galatians chapter 4. And let me get verse 22. Everybody want to be the children of Israel. Everybody want our book. Everybody want to steal our God. All right? But now we taking them back. Strong arming them. Let me get Galatians chapter 4 and verse 22.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 4 and verse 22. When you get it, say Khan.
Con.
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 I think you on mute, King.
Salak.
Go
For
ahead.
it is written that Abraham had two sons, and one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman.
Right. Read on.
But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise.
Right. They're speaking about a parable of Sarah and Hagar. Right. Sarah was born of the what? Of the promise. Hagar was born of the flesh. Because through both of Sarah, the promise was who? Isaac. The flesh was who? For Hagar was who? Ishmael. Khan?
Khan.
Read on.
Which things are allegory. For these are the two covenants. The one from the Mount Sinai, which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar.
Right. Read on.
For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is, and is in bondage with her children.
Right. So this Agar or Hagar, right, is of Arabia. That's like Saudi Arabia, right? That's tying into Ishmael. And it says Ishmael, Hagar, answer to who? Jerusalem. God?
God.
They answer to us. The same as how Sarah was whooping Hagar's behind. Hagar was Sarah's slave. Same as with Ishmael. Ishmael belongs to Israel. They belong to us. So now the slave want to act like the master, and the role have been reversed. So now they take our book. They lie about us. They take our prophet. They take our Messiah. They take our God. They take everything from us. Right? And they make their own. Let me get one more for this. Let me get Romans chapter 9 now. And verse 7.
God. This is the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 7. When you get it, say Khan. God. Neither, because they are the seed of Abraham, are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
You see what the Lord said? Just because Ishmael was a child of Abraham, that don't mean he's the chosen. God?
God.
Same as when Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Just because he got Ham, Shem, and Japheth, that don't mean all 3 is the chosen. The Lord chooses only one. And he chose Shem. Right? So when it came to Ishmael and Isaac, the Lord chose Isaac. When it came to Jacob and Esau, the Lord chose Jacob. There's a balance. One got to be good, one got to be evil. God?
God.
So the chosen seed is Israel. All these nations are the seed of Abraham. Most of them. But the chosen seed is Israel. That's what matters. Right? So now, Luke 12 and 1 and 2, it says, what's in the darkness will come out to the light. Now, look what it says. Let's get Surah 29 and verse 27, or Ayah 27. And then we'll go back to the video. Can y'all see the screen?
God.
Right? This is Surah 29, verse 27.
God.
Right? So this is what they have in the Quran. It says, we blessed him with Isaac and later Jacob, and reserved prophethood and revelations for his descendants. We gave him his reward in this life, and the hereafter he will certainly be among the righteous. So it says, from Isaac to Jacob, they reserved the prophethood and the revelations unto his descendants. Right? So when they say Muhammad is a prophet, if you a prophet, get one more. Get Leviticus 20 and 13.
God.
Let's see if you're a prophet. Get Leviticus 20 and 13.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 13. When everybody get it, stay calm.
Leviticus 20 and 13. Let's get that.
Con.
God. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death.
Now,
Their
why
blood.
did that? Now, hold on. Why did that I bring out that verse? Let's watch this video. Let's watch this video. Yeah, get ready, man, because you're about to hear a lot of stuff. You're about to hear a lot of stuff. All right, let's go.
Did you know that there are 20 different types of kissing? 20 different types of kissing. I want to talk about someone who is more interesting, and I love to talk about his kissing skills. Of course, I don't think it will take Arshine to guess who I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about a man called Muhammad, who is identified as the Prophet of Islam. It's not only Muhammad is interesting with all what he does, the kids, or what he does, the slaves, how he sports.
Oh yeah, Salakia. Just to let y'all know, this woman right here is very infamous for debating Muslims. And mind you, she's an Ishmaelite. Khan?
God.
The Lord is using their own people against them. This woman right here was confounding so many Muslims that they even tried to stone her one day because she brought so many versions of the Quran, and they said the Quran has never been changed and never been rewritten. This woman with another man literally brought to the debate 26 different versions of the Quran. And Ishmael was furious that day. They tried to kill her that day. All right. So this is an Ishmaelite woman going in on her own people. So check this.
This goes on. Anyway, it will just change the focus of the video. So, I want to talk about Muhammad and his kissing skills. Interestingly, while Islamic tradition talks about all what Muhammad did, most of what Muhammad did, in that list it is also telling us how Muhammad practiced his kissing skills. I'm not sure if we will be identifying Muhammad's kissing skills as French kiss, but let's go through that together. So where we will go to the most reliable Islamic sources. It is related that Abu Huraira said, I never see Al-Hassan without my eyes overflowing with tears. That is because the Prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, or that junk thing, went out one day and I found him in the mosque. He took my hand and I went along with him. he did not speak to me until we reached the market of Banu Kanuka. He walked around it and looked. He's doing like window shopping. Then he left and I left with him until we reached the mosque. He sat down and wrapped himself with his garment. Then he said, "Where is little one?" "Call the little one to me." Hassan came running and jumped into his lap. He's calling the little one. Little one name is Hassan, that's his grandson. Runs and jumps into his lap. Then he put his hand in his beard. You get to see sometimes that in the Middle East when creepy mans just play with their beards before they rape people. So he put his hand in his beard. Then the Prophet, may Allah, blah 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 blah, the Prophet opened his mouth and put his tongue in his mouth. Muhammad opens his mouth and put his tongue, Muhammad's tongue, goes into mouth of Hassan. Then he said, "Oh Allah, I love him, so love him, and the one who loves him." Oh Allah.
Did y'all hear what just happened?
Yo, that's foul, man.
Disgusting.
Pitiful, man.
But you know what's funny? You're not gonna find this in the Quran. Did y'all know that?
Where did she pull this from?
She's calling it from the Hadith,
Ooh,
1183.
okay.
Right. You're not gonna find this in the Quran. The Quran is what the Muslims read to recite. Right? It's like how we do with the Bible. We read the precepts, memorize the precepts and everything. That's how they do it, to recite verses and everything. The Hadith is, go ahead, King. Somebody said Salakia?
Yeah, Salakia, my bad. It's because I'm at work, but is there any way that you could put the link to the video you watching and where the chat is? I'm trying to
Yeah.
listen, but I'm working at the same time. Salakia, I appreciate you.
Don, I got you. You talking about the video that I just post right now, or hold on. I got it right. Yeah, all these videos I'm gonna show, I'll put the link on it so y'all can check it out for yourself. All right. So it's talking about him and basically how he's a child molester. He's not just a molester as in messing with Aisha, who he married at betrothed at 6 years old and then consummated the marriage at 9 years old. Yes. He was with her at 6 years old. And knowingly, they said consummated the marriage with a little girl at 9 years old when she was 9 years old. Right? He wasn't just doing that. He was messing with little boys as well. But this is supposed to be their prophet. I give Leviticus 20 and 13 again, man.
Khan, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their
Right.
blood
Read
shall
on.
be on them.
Right. This is their prophet. This is their so-called Muhammad. All right. Let me put it on the chat as well, too, just so I get the. But you would never hear a Muslim speak about this. You would never hear them address anything like this. All right. Let me show you it right here. Look at this. There we go, right here. All right, here we go. Y'all can see the screen, right?
Khan.
See, it shows it right here. In book reference, book 48, this is 48 book of what? The Hadith. Hadith 9, English translation, which is Hadith 1183. Right? And look what it says right here. It is related that Abu Hurairah said, I never saw Al-Hassan without my eyes overflowing with tears. Right? That is because the Prophet, may he had blessed him, grant him peace, went out one day and found me in the mosque, and he took my hand and went along with him. And he did not speak to me until we reached the market of Banu Qanab. And we walked around and looked. Then he left, and I left with him until we reached the mosque. He sat down and wrapped himself in his garment. Then he said, where is the little one? Call the little one to me. Hassan came running and jumped into his lap. Then he put his hand in his beard. Then the Prophet, may Allah bless him, may Allah kill him, grant him peace, opened his mouth and put his mouth in his mouth. Then he said, oh Allah, I love him, so love him and the one who loves him. This is their Prophet. Wicked. All right, let me show this one again. Put his tongue in his mouth. Look at that.
Allah, the way I'm showing my love to Hassan, by putting my tongue into his mouth. As a man, I am putting my tongue to child's mouth to express my love. And then of course he kindly asked Allah to love Hassan and also love those who love Hassan.
Now let me get First Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 35.
Khan.
You would never hear them address any of this stuff. They said Muhammad was perfect, you know, peace be upon him. Don't say nothing about him. Don't say nothing bad about him. Well, come to find out, he's a pedophile. He's a child molester. Same as with the Catholic priests, with the little boys in the altar. Same as with Dalai Lama. All right. Let me get First Maccabees 10 and 35.
Khan. This is the first book of Maccabees in the Apocrypha, chapter 10 and verse 35. When you get it, say Khan.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, Elder.
Shalom.
This is your Prophet Muhammad for you Muslims kissing little boys in the mouth, tonguing them down with French kissing.
Khan. Again, this is the first book of Maccabees in the Apocrypha, chapter 10 and verse 35. Also, no man shall have authority to meddle with or to molest any of them in any matter.
Read that again. It said, no man shall have what?
No man shall have authority to meddle with or to molest any of them in any matter.
Right. And what is everybody talking about? Look at the topic everybody's talking about. Usher reveals how Diddy molested him and Justin Bieber. Right? Same thing with Muhammad, cultural leader and all of this stuff, dealing with little boys. All right? What about this other one? Let me show you this other one.
Hey, Shalaki King.
Go ahead, King.
Maybe this is a form of love that we can't comprehend. It's like the rabbis putting their mouth on the baby's penis. It's a form of love that we just don't know how to express.
Right.
Phrases. But the Dalai Lama could stick his tongue in little boy's mouth. The priest could put their mouth on the baby's penis. And we don't even want to mention the stuff that the Catholic Church has been doing to, these children. When we see also with the Catholic churches, the molestation goes way further because you find mass graves of children on Catholic property.
Mm-hmm.
So all over the world. So yeah, they on another level altogether, man.
Con. Con. And look, the same thing. Dalai Lama, they say he's a cultural leader and all of this stuff. And look what he's doing.
The Dalai Lama has apologized after a video showing him kissing a boy sparked outrage on social media. This happened back in February at an event in India. Now, the video shows the spiritual leader kissing a boy on the lips and then sticking his tongue out and asking the child to, quote, suck my tongue. The Dalai Lama's office issued a statement saying His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, and that the 87-year-old does regret this incident.
Hey, Shalaki King.
Yeah, okay.
What if they do this? You know, the scriptures say whatever is done in the dark, but what do they really do? If he's doing this in front of a crowd, cameras, public, wants the boy to suck on his tongue, and his media people who trying to clean it up say he teases people like this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so he does this all the time?
Right.
In public? What does he do in private?
Right.
This is in front of the media, cameras, people with their cell phones out. What is this dude doing in private with these kids, man?
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
God. And these stuff got to be exposed. Right? Same as we talking about with Diddy, Nickelodeon, Orlando Brown, right? The kids in Nickelodeon being touched by these adults and ain't nobody doing nothing about it. The pederasty, all this sick stuff that they doing, the LGBT movement, how they pushing the pedophilia as well. They legalize a little kid have the right to make a decision to be a man or a woman. All of this is part of the agenda. And they've been doing this for generations. All different denominations. They've been doing this for generations. All right? But tonight is going to be exposed.
And Shalaki King, and not just them, but we see it in terms of the Pizzagate controversy with these high official people and going into the adrenochrome. So this thing is way deeper than we even know, right? We have a young girl talking about how she's been passed around, and they take her underground in tunnels and back rooms and secret passages, and she's met all of these high officials. This thing is really a deep, deep ditch, man. Go ahead, King.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Well, it's been happening. You know? Well, I think the Lord wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah because the level of wickedness was so high and so disgusting. You know, they get that in the Quran. You know? Go ahead, El.
No, it's been happening. Like, in fact, it's why a lot of Edomite girls don't like their fathers, right? It's a known fact that the highest rate of molestation, the FBI, according to the FBI statistics, is white families. Highest level of molestation among young girls. This is why a lot of Edomite girls don't like their fathers. They will tell you that. A lot of them got molested by their own father, stepfathers, or so on. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's a perverted spirit for people, but they like dealing with young children, man. They like molesting young children. They like taking advantage of young children. That's an evil spirit. Goes back to Alistair, when the Illuminati goes back to Aleister Crowley, and he said that, having sex with a young boy is like the highest level, something that you can get, the highest level of something crazy that he was saying, penetrating a young boy. So These things is in their nature, man. They perverted. It tells you that in Wisdom of Solomon, when you read Wisdom of Solomon, I think the 16th verse or one of them verses, it tells you about how they always deal with the young child, man. It's something that's been around from the Babylonian, Egyptians, and many different times.
Yeah, we was talking about, let's go back to this. We was talking about the hadith. This this monster. We talking about Muhammad, who they call Prophet Muhammad. And he was caught in the hadith tonguing down a little boy. You know, and then they say, oh, Allah, and this and that. May God bless him, and I love him, so may God love him as well. You know, people talk about Aisha, the little girl, 6 years old, he married and molested basically at 9 years old, but he was molesting little kids ever since then. But the Muslims don't bring that out.
I never heard that one, but it kind of matches up with them, the Muslims, because the Arabs, they are a bunch of molesters, right? The ones on high, like the Saudis and ones that got a lot of money on the low, they are a bunch of molesters. So it kind of lines up with them Arabs, man. The ones on the high level. That's a secret that's not really revealed. But they do mess with young boys and young girls. You know.
So from there, let's get to the next part. We just finished reading the hadith. You know, definitely make sure y'all take notes on this as well. Y'all can use this as weapons against these Muslims. You know, expose their fake prophet. Right? Because the Lord said, Leviticus 20:13, man lay with another man shall be put to death. Right? You're a grown man and you messing with little boys, kissing down little boys and children. Well, you can have any chooser to pick of the people that you want, any woman that you want. Right? So let's get to the next part of this.
Very, very, very disturbing. Very, very, very disturbing, of course. Very disturbing. Let's move on. Let's move on. This Muhammad desire is not only someone else's wives, for someone else's wives. Muhammad desire is not only slave women's. Muhammad desire is not only for who just killed his family and then took the woman, but also Muhammad's desire is for boys, little boys. Please come to the next hadith with me. A man comes to Muhammad and then says, you people kiss the boys, we don't kiss the boys. Man finds this a bit strange that Muhammad is kissing the boys. Probably everyone heard one of the type of the kissing, one of 20, Muhammad is practicing on Hassan by putting his tongue into his mouth, into the mouth of this child. Everyone heard about it, and then people come and then ask him. I'm not even asking like, oh, you do this, we don't do it. Of course people don't do it. People have little bit moral standards. And it's not only that, of course. It's not only Muhammad's creepy relationship with boys. And then also Islam kind of brings like one of the more this, we don't do it.
So the next one is Hadith 29, book 78. Right? It says Sahih Baqarah. Everything right here at the bottom part is showing you order reference. All right. Everything is showing you order reference from 29, book 73, book 78. It's showing you order reference. Right. So this is book 78. Can y'all see it?
God.
Yeah, it's showing. These are the references you can go to. All right. These are the links you can go to, pinpoint, and be quick with them. Like, just bring them out quickly. They can't stop you against this type of stuff. Because you're exposing things and information that even a lot of Muslims say they don't even know about, too. Because they really don't read their Quran. You know? They don't read all the hadiths. They'll read some. They don't read everything. You know, and a lot of Muslims, they go like, it's like their way of teaching is like a parrot. They just mimic what somebody else say. Right? Whatever their imam say, whatever their sheikh say is what they'll say. Right? So it says, a Bedouin came to the prophet and said, you people kiss the boys. We don't kiss boys. We don't kiss them. The prophet said, I cannot put mercy in your heart after Allah has taken it away from you. So Muhammad basically saying, it's mercy if I do kiss the boys. Because the prophet is with me. I'm the last prophet. You know, whoever I kiss, I bring salvation to. That's a sick freak. That's the mind of a sicko, a psycho. You know, that's deranged, man. That is a dangerous type of mind. Right? But a lot of people run to join Islam. Not even knowing the history about it.
Of course, people don't do it. People have little bit moral standards. And boys, and the Prophet said, whoever guarantees me what is between.
Now, this one is crazy. But before we get to this one, let me get Romans chapter 1.
Wow.
Let's get Romans chapter 1 and let's get verse 26.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 26. When you get it, say Khan.
Khan.
For this cause, Yahweh gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Right, read on.
And likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another.
Right. So this tying into homosexuality, right? Burning their lusts one towards another. Right, read on.
Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meet.
All right. So the reason why I want to bring that out, let me show, where's this video? This one right here. Well, the reason I want to bring that out, let me show you. Niggas in. All right, here we go. Right here.
In his tafsir, Muslims always say Islam says that it is haram to have sex with men. You cannot be a homosexual in Islam. But today we're going to show you that Muhammad actually had sexual encounters with men besides women. And there are a lot of proof and evidence from the Islamic sources that we will go to. So if you don't like this topic, please don't watch further, because this is going to be a explicit topic. So if there are women or children, don't watch this video. Let us start, guys. If we go to the Quran in chapter 93, ayah 6, it says, Allah speaking, did he not find you an orphan and give you refuge? Now, what does this ayah mean, guys? We have to go to the tafsir to understand what this ayah is talking about. Let us go to the tafsir of Al-Razi to understand what this ayah actually means. As you see here, we can see that basically the Prophet of Islam is having a nice time with another man. This is of course a meme, so some Muslims will find this very disturbing. So let us read what this information is telling us. We know that Muhammad had a lot of wives and women, but did he ever had men? That's the question of today. Did he ever have men? Before going further, let's see the harsh experiences he had while he was still an orphan kid. Because remember, if we go to the Sirah Nabawiyah by Ibn Hisham, we can understand that Amina died when Muhammad was really young, and Muhammad became an orphan because his dad was already dead. And according
Oh yeah, quick thing. Where he's getting the information from as well, this guy right here, he's gonna put the link on his channel, right? And is exposing so much things about, you know, Islam and their wickedness, homosexuality, and everything, right? Now, when you click the link, he's going based off the link where he's getting all these information from. It's the list and everything. But when you click the link, it's right here. When you click the link, look what happens. Yeah, see what it says? Do y'all see what happened to the link?
God,
What happened?
sorry, the page don't exist.
Right, they wiped it all out.
They got rid of that fast.
Huh?
I said they got rid of that fast.
Immediately. They wiped it all out. Right? So the link that he got right now, he posted a link for everybody to check it. And this was 2019. They wiped it all out. They deleted it. All right? So look what he's talking about.
to the Islamic sources, Muhammad stayed in the belly of his mother for 4 years. That doesn't make sense, but I don't want to go Prophet's father while the mother of the Prophet is still pregnant with him, and then he was born. He was with his grandfather Abdul Muttalib and his mother Amina. Amina died while he was 2 years old, and the grandfather also died while he was 8 years. And before his death, Abdul Muttalib asked Abu Talib to take care of the Prophet, since he was Abdullah's brother from the same mother. So Abu Talib took custody of the Prophet of Allah after his grandfather passed away, until he was commissioned with prophecy. So until Muhammad became a so-called prophet. It has been told that Abu Talib one day said to his brother Al-Abbas, Abu Talib speaking, do you want to hear about Muhammad and what I saw from him? So he's asking Al-Abbas, did you hear what I saw from him, from the Prophet? Al-Abbas said, yes, I want.
Now, mind you, this is Muhammad's uncle, right? This is Muhammad's uncle. Remember what the elder was talking about with Ishmael and a lot of this sick stuff that they go around and do? This is Muhammad's uncle, right? Look what happens, man.
Abu Talib said, he was in my custody and not leaving him out of my sight day and night, and do not entrust him to anyone until I make him sleep in my bed. So Abu Talib is saying that Muhammad was sleeping in his bed. Did you catch it, guys? And Abu Talib says, here comes the most disturbing part. One night I ordered him to take off his clothing. Who? Abu Talib ordered Muhammad to take off his clothing and sleep with me. So I saw resentment on his face and but hate to show disobedience. So Muhammad didn't want to become disobedient, so he did it. And he replied back, oh uncle, put your face away until I take off my clothing, as no one should see my naked body. So Muhammad didn't want to see or show, in this case, his naked body to Abu Talib, right? And imagine, he was sleeping in the same bed with Abu Talib. So I was puzzled. Abu Talib was puzzled from his response, and I did put my face away until he came into bed. And when he did, there was a dress between both of us that I did not put. And then I found that he is too soft and smells so good, as if he is soaked in scents. So I kept trying hard to stare at his body. So Abu Talib kept looking at the body of Muhammad, and a lot of times during our sleep at this night, I found him not in bed, and I kept calling on him. So he said, "Uncle, here I am," and returned. So Muhammad was sleeping with another man in the same bed, in this case with Abu Talib. Are you seeing what's going on here, guys? Abu Talib did the following. One, he requested that Muhammad take off his clothes and come to bed. Two, he was trying too hard to stare at an 8-year-old naked boy. And three, he managed to touch him during his sleep and described his skin as being very soft. And four, he was obviously enjoying the presence of a naked boy, as he kept smelling, staring, and touching him. The naked body, the naked boy of Muhammad. The naked boy at the year of 8. And
So,
Lucky King,
go ahead, King.
this sounds like a Diddy party, man.
It sounds like a Diddy party. Right? Because remember, wasn't Justin Bieber talking about that?
Usher.
Usher. Remember Usher, his parents? They said he can go with Diddy. And his parents is wicked as hell because they knew what they was doing. Right?
The parents, as the scripture says, stole a boy for a harlot.
Khan, this is a cycle. All of this is a cycle. Right? Same as with Diddy. Same thing happened to him with Clyde Davis. And a lot of people ain't talking about Clyde Davis. This is a cycle. Right? That's why the scripture says, prove a friend. This is uncle doing this. And it's going to get worse. Same as we said with the celebrities. They go into all these sleepovers. These grown men in there by themselves, and these little kids are sleepovers. All this is a cycle. Wickedness. Khan?
God.
All of this is a cycle. Watch this, man.
And Abu Talib kept staring at him. And, you know, this is really a strange, you know. So let us continue. And there's even much more disturbing facts. Muhammad was actually raped by his cousin. Yes, you heard it correctly. Muhammad said, "My cousin raped me." Let me show you. Meanwhile, Muhammad, his own uncle Abu Talib, only touched him. We found that Muhammad claimed that he was raped by his own cousin Abu Sufyan ibn Harith bin Abdul Muttalib. So his own cousin raped him. And before presenting the evidence, let us examine the Arabic expression used. هتك عرضي من هتك العرض. هتك عرضي. هتك عرضي. هتك عرضي. Coming from هتك العرض. Let us see how it will be translated in a translation engine like Google Translate. What does this mean? If we post the Arabic two words, هتك العرض, هتك العرض, it means rape. Did you catch it, guys? This is Google Translate. هتك العرض means rape. Yes, exactly. Thank you. It means rape. Did you catch it, guys? So Muhammad was actually raped. And let us go to the Islamic sources, not my sources, Muslims. It's your Islamic sources. This is from the Islamic source, Al-Sira Al-Nabawiyya, in the Sira of Ibn Hisham, about the life of Muhammad, the biography, early biography of Muhammad. Al-Sira Nabawiyya, you can go and find it yourself. It is reported by Ibn Ishaq, and it was that Abu Sufyan ibn al-Harith bin Abdul Muttalib and Abdullah bin Ubay Ummiyah bin al-Mughira had met the Prophet of Allah at a place called Naik al-Uqab, mean between Mecca and Medina. So it's a place that is between Mecca and Medina. So they wanted to enter in his presence. So Salama talked to him about that, saying, O Prophet of Allah, it is your cousin from your uncle and your other cousin from your aunt and your kinsman. So Muhammad answered, I have nothing to do with those two. So Muhammad said, I have nothing to do with my two cousins. In regards to my cousin, he raped me. So Muhammad is saying, هتك عرضي ابن عمي هتك عرضي ابن عمي هتك عرضي. So that means my cousin, he raped me. This is from the earliest source by Ibn Hisham, the student of Ibn Ishaq. And this is basically more early than the Quran itself, guys. This is the most earliest source about the life of Muhammad, right? This is not my source, guys. This is not the source of Rob Christian. This is the Sira al-Nabawiyya. Lord have mercy. Muslims, you always say sex between a man and a man is kufr. It's haram. It's disgusting. It's a big sin in Islam. But as you see, Muhammad was raped by his own cousin. Did you catch it?
All right, let me jump to the next one.
By Muslim apologists against my cousin and busted. And we are going to show a good chain of narrators. And the second one, when they say the expression, I read the full hadith, it will not make sense unless the secondary
all right, here we go. This is the one right
that talk about the sex adventures with the Sahaba. Here is one. Muhammad and Abu Bahisa in Al-Sunnah Al-Kubra, reported by Abu Ali Al-Ruzbari from Abu Bakr bin Dassah, Tahanna Abu Dawood, Tahanna Ubaid Allah bin Muaz, Tahanna Khammas from Siyar bin Nasur reported, a man from Bani Fazaza from a woman called Bahisa about her father said, my father, Abu Bahisa, took permission from the Prophet and he entered between him and his shirt and began to kiss him and embrace him. Did you catch it, guys? And who is that? About the Prophet. And then said, Abu Bahisa, O Prophet of Allah, what is the thing that is forbidden to be forbidden? Muhammad said, the water. And continue on. So as you see, Muhammad was kissed and embraced by another man. As you see, another strange activity between the Prophet of Islam, which are embarrassing about what happened between Muhammad and Abu Bahisa. It says when Abu Bahisa entered inside Muhammad's shirt, he entered from the back. So Abu Bahisa belly was on the most dignified Prophet's back. So he was standing behind Muhammad, and he was basically humping him, so to speak. And it also
Doc, read that verse again, man.
Calm.
This the stuff. And you see how the cycle continue? The Muslims don't talk about this stuff. Your prophet being molested, and then now he continues the cycle to where now he's a child molester.
Hurt
Where
people.
now
Hurt
it's
people.
okay for him to kiss other men as well. Somebody says Salakia?
Hurt people. Hurt people.
Khan. Right? All of this is a cycle.
Shalaki King, I mean,
Okay.
this is some major controversy right there.
Mm-hmm.
I see why they have to bury this information.
Khan.
I mean, they want to attack you, you know, if you say something bad about it. This is some major. This is some really bad stuff coming out here. Wow.
Mhm.
Never heard about this at all.
Khan.
Go ahead, King.
Khan. And that's a great point, Doc. Because the same as with these celebrities, look how much of a effect. Look at so many people that was fans of Meek Mill. And they'll defend Meek Mill till they die. Philly rapping, all of this and that. All these top rappers you'll defend. All these sports stars you'll defend. You'll put your life on the line. Ain't no way in hell he did this. He wasn't in that party. He wasn't in that room. Hell no. And then Cat Williams said, yes, he was. Your favorite rappers, celebrities, man. You find out they made all these secret deals. But the ones that's not even known, those are the ones that didn't take the deal. All these underground rappers. Better than 1,000 times better than all these mainstream rappers. But you'll never hear any one of their records or hear the light of day of them. Why? Because they never took the deal. They didn't give up their soul for that money. You know? All these so-called leaders like Farrakhan, all these people that's put on mainstream, they taking deals.
Salaki,
Go ahead, sis.
if you notice they oh man, I'll think of it and I'll come back to it.
Nah, they'll come back. I know y'all seeing information like this is crazy. You know? I know a lot of y'all got family members that's Muslim now. You know, when it was me and Macabre, we went over to Macabre house, all of us HY and Y and J. You know, he got family members that's Muslim. You know, I have family members that's Muslims as well too. And you can never tell them this type of information. They'll try to kill you.
Salakia, it came back to me.
Go ahead, sis.
My nephew, his mom and them, they Muslim and everything like that. But I was just gonna say how it's funny because they knew when they was doing that mess, they knew what they was doing because by him being Abraham's seed, he knew the law and he knew what he was doing was wrong. But he was still doing it. That's why they was able to say, I mean, some stuff, you know, naturally, you know, the Bible tells us nature teaches you some stuff, you know, you just know by nature that that's just not right. But he knew, he actually did know the law, but he went against what he knew and he still did that.
That's a beautiful point, sis. And remember, where did he learn his feast days from? Where did he learn about the prayers? He learned it from the Israelites.
Exactly.
So he knew the laws and judgment, Leviticus 20 and 13. He knew all of that, but he still decided to live that lifestyle in wickedness. Khan? He knew the laws. It's same as with Nimrod. Nimrod knew the laws.
That's
That's why he knew how to break them. He knew the laws. That's why he knew how to set up everybody to build that Tower of Babel. He knew the prophecy.
Right. They knew, and they knew it was talked about exactly what was going to come, what the Most High plan was concerning Mashiach to come, all of it.
So now what's happening? People seeing it now. Now people are starting to see everything be exposed now. All this homosexuality is everywhere. Right? I remember I used to watch this this TV show called Tyrant. It was called Tyrant. And it was two brothers. Both of them was Ishmaelite brothers. One was born in America, and the other one was born in Iran or something like that. I think Saudi Arabia or something. Right? Same father. Well, yeah, same father and everything. But one, the parent moved over to America and left one of the child behind in Saudi Arabia. That child ended up becoming the president of Saudi Arabia, right? But he became so much of a tyrant that America was trying to find a way to come back and try to usurp his authority so they could infiltrate the country for the resources. So what did Esau do? Esau took the child that was born in America and build him up to go back to Saudi Arabia to become the next president. Right? And he did that to do what? Divide and conquer. But also to what? To destabilize the country so he could put in his puppet, his American puppet, who's basically an Ishmaelite, but he has the mentality of a white man.
Time.
And what happened? He went from being a nice guy in the beginning and all of that. And at the end of the show, what happened? He's more worse than his own brother. He became an even more vicious tyrant. And then later on through the show, when it was talking about tyrant, people thinking it was talking about the first brother. No, the actual tyrant was the last brother, was the second brother. He became worse than his little brother.
Salakia. Hey, where can we find that movie at?
Tyrant. Just look it up on you. I'm gonna show you right now.
Okay.
Let me show you right now. It's a good show as well, too. There's a lot of information. But let me see. Tyrant show. Yeah, here you
It's
go.
like,
Go ahead,
while
King.
you doing that, hey, shalom everybody.
Whoa. Fire.
Hey, that's one of Esau's tactic going back way, way, way in history, right? Esau used to do that whenever he had rulership, pretty much. The Romans used to take the Germanians, the outside tribes, and they would like take the sons of the whoever was the leader of the tribe, and they'll raise them in Rome. They'll kidnap them, take them as collateral, so that those other nations would not fight against them. And then they would raise up the children, and then they would send them back to to be the heads of those tribes, but they would be basically Hellenized. You know what I'm saying? The children would basically be indoctrinated with whatever the Roman ways were. So that's always been a tactic of Esau, to take people of other nations, Hellenize them or indoctrinate them wherever Esau's at with how they live, and then send them back to their country to be leaders and the the presidents and the leaders and the kings of their country. But what are they gonna do? They're gonna bring all those pagan customs and Roman customs, and they're gonna whenever Rome wants to impose his will, whenever these Edomites want to impose their will, they just do it through the plant that they put in there.
And yeah, you talking about the show Barbarian.
Right. Barbarian.
On Netflix. And there's another one called The Romans. It'll show that as well, too. The same tactic. And the thing with Ishmael, the homosexuality stuff, even now, in the time with Muhammad and the Muslims, guess who they learned that from? The Greeks. And it's all gonna show in these videos, right? But let's here we go right here. Let's get back to this weird demon. So Muhammad
So says Abu Bahisa kept rubbing his chest on Muhammad back and then mentions the same forbidden water, salt, spice it up conversation. Lord have mercy. And here's
hey, and mind you, let me see if I can find this. All right, I'll get back.
again the Arabic reference. You can go and find it for yourself. Also on this website, islamweb.net, a very known website. Muhammad and Osama bin Zayd in Sunan ibn Majah, hadith number 1976. In Sunan ibn Majah, hadith number 1976, reported by Abu Bakr.
Hey, mind you, this is about Muhammad. Khan?
Time.
This is about
Salakia.
the Prophet Muhammad. Go ahead. Somebody said Salakia. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, speaking of how they divide and conquer, and that movie that you were talking about how the last brother was worse than the one before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at how when they do that with us, look at how if they take one of ours and put them up, give them a little bit of power, and you know what they say, you give a nigga a little bit of authority, how he act and how he turn on us. That's how they do today. They always end up worse than the white man.
That's why I gave the example of Diddy. You know?
Right.
But who's the one that was orchestrating everything behind Diddy? Clive Davis.
Exactly.
Because Clive Davis molested Diddy as well, too.
Yep. But even like when they become police officers and stuff like that, they end up doing us worse than the white ones do sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. You know, Clive Davis molested Diddy, and now Diddy is doing the same exact thing too. He's molesting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's destroying people, families, and all of this stuff.
He's terrible.
Yeah. So same thing with Muhammad. Sick and wicked as hell. And the Muslims don't talk about this stuff. Go ahead, sis.
And I did want to make a comment on what Yeshaya said. It just reminds me of what they did with the Native Americans, our brothers, where they had this whole propaganda machine where they said, let's kill the Indian and save the man. So they basically took our people, stripped them of everything that we had, cut our hair, did everything to make it look like them, and then sent us back. They took it when we were kids, and then sent us back to our land where they knew nobody would want to associate with us because, hey, we're just like the white man now. That's what they did back then. And then where the sister was talking about how when you give someone authority of our people, they don't know how to use it. It just reminded me of the movie I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, in the scene where Jack goes to, I actually just spoke about this in a class just last week. Jack goes to the Black Revolutionary group, the building, and he asked the guy what happened to the movement. He said he once heard he used to be 1,000 men strong. And he said, well, they went down to the government building one day to take it over, but they were hiring that day. Brothers went in with guns, came out with jobs. They're not angry anymore. And it's the same thing we've seen that's happened with all of our Black leaders. You have Black civil rights leaders that, they were so powerful and had so much zeal for their people back then. But now all those civil rights leaders have these good, well-paying jobs, and you don't hear them talk about anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I yield.
Yeah, they've been restricted.
Time.
Remember, the scripture says in Ecclesiastes 7:7, Pressure maketh a wise man mad, but a gift destroyeth the heart. Right? You become docile. Right? They start buying you. They basically bought you. That's what happened. So now they tell you, hey, about that movie you talking about, that revolution, fight the power. You don't got to talk about that no more. Let me give you a couple of $100. Make sure you good. Right? Now the white man is very smart because he's a hunter, so you know to pray. And if he know you got influence, he's gonna try to use you and manipulate you. If he know you got the power to sway the minds of the people with just words, actions, he's gonna find a way to use you so that you can manipulate your people. It's all back for him. It's all for him. But if you know he can't control you, he's gonna try to build you up. After he's done and build you up, he's gonna try to destroy you. Now, what's happening with Diddy is the same exact thing. Now, all of a sudden, same thing happened with Bill Cosby. You want to buy what is it, NBC or CBS? And now they said, nigga, we're gonna put you in your place. Don't try to rise above the means of your own master. Now he's so like, we're gonna put you back in your place because we built you up and we could bring you down. Same thing with Diddy. Same thing with all these celebrities. But they got to put an image out there that they're clean, perfect, nice, lifestyle and everything, so everybody could want to follow that lifestyle. But behind the scenes, the things that they're doing, the Lord said he don't want to speak it. He don't want to be spoken about. It's unseemly, ungodly. That's in all these denominations, all these religions. Look at the pastors today. Holier than thou. T.D. Jakes, holier than thou. And now you found out he's been in these parties swallowing. Holier than thou. Ties in the same thing with people following Islam with this so-called Prophet Muhammad. Everybody think he's holier than thou. Don't speak about the prophet. The last prophet. Don't you talk about him. Allah is with him. The Quran never been changed. Right? If, hey, you don't want to be a Christian, come be a Muslim. Not knowing that they're both traps. It's like when you got a good-looking chick and an ugly chick, fat, ugly chick, right? A lot of people will have that one friend that's low on self-esteem, bad-looking, whatever, and they'll have them around them just so it can make them look good. Instead of telling their friend the truth so they can better themselves. But they'll keep that person around because that person looks the worst, he look bad or whatever, he or she or whatever, just so they can make themselves look better. That's the same thing with Christianity and Islam. A lot of people talk about Christianity, all of this stuff, they crazy, homosexual, all of this stuff, crack and this and that, talking about Christ is white. But what about Islam? Me personally, for me, because my experience with it, Islam is more dangerous. Why? Because it looks good on the outside. Everybody look like they're in order. Discipline. You get discipline from it, that's true. But behind the scenes, it's wicked as hell. Idol worship. That's what you're doing. You're bowing down to the copper stone. Idol worship. Right? All the money you get, your donations, they'll call it zakat. They want you to donate. They say everything is for Allah. Whatever you give is for God. God is going to pay you back. But all the money that they get from you, they're bringing it back to their country to build up their countries. You supported a nation of people that put your ass in slavery and did you dirty. Turned you into a eunuch. Slaughtering you and sleeping with your woman. And also sleeping with your children. You try to pray right next to these Muslims, they moving their feet away from you like you disgusting or something. But let's get back to this one about this Muhammad. And his Diddy lifestyle. His diddler lifestyle. All right.
Ibn Majah. Hadith number 1976. In Sunan Ibn Majah.
Now listen to what they said about Muhammad in this one. Look what happened. Listen to this, man. This one is wild.
Hadith number 1976, reported by Abu Bakr bin Abi Sahiba from Shuraik from Al-Abbas bin Zuhair from she said, from Aisha, he said, Osama was trembled by the door step, so he hurt his forehead. So Rasulullah Muhammad said, remove the blood away. So she held him, and then Muhammad started to suck the blood away and spit it away from his face. So Muhammad was sucking the blood of the man's face. If Osama, look what Muhammad is saying, if Osama was a maid, a female slave, then I would have adorned and dressed him until he became in my partnership.
Do you know what that means? Do y'all know what he just basically said? Oh my God. It's locking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Khan. It sounds like you're talking about transgender shit.
Right. Go ahead, King.
I missed that.
Let me read it.
Salaki.
Go ahead, sis.
What did he do? He was drinking a man's blood on his face?
Right. The man hit his head on a wall or something, and then Muhammad started sucking the blood off his forehead, right? And then the man name is Osama, right? He said, if Osama was a maid, a female slave, then I would have adorned and dressed him until he become in my partnership.
That's just nasty.
Right. So he's talking about a man. He said, if this man was like a woman, you know, I'll make her my wife, basically. Put him in a
He's
dress.
not supposed to be drinking no blood, first of all.
Right. That too as well. Let me get Deuteronomy 22 and 5, Ak. Who are you talking about? Osama bin Laden?
Shalom.
Shalom.
This is the book of
good old Muhammad. Go ahead, King. Deuteronomy 22 and 5.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. When you get it, say Khan.
Khan.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord.
That's what the Lord said. The man not supposed to put on a woman's garment, a woman's dress. Look at these celebrities today. Look at these so-called superstars today, all getting put in dresses. But Muhammad said he wished he could have put a dress on Osama and make him his woman in his so-called quote-unquote partnership. This is a freak of nature. But they say he's the prophet. Khan?
Khan.
Read on.
Khan. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy Yahweh.
How can you be the last prophet and the Lord say you an abomination unto him? Right? How can you try to put a man in a dress, talking about you'll make him a female slave? You an abomination. All right, let's go. There's more.
So Muhammad would have basically had sexual relationship with a man, and Muhammad would have dressed him like a woman basically and would loved him. And our prophet we are talking about today is having a fantasy about this gentleman called Osama. A fantasy, a sexual fantasy, dressing up this man and having intimate relationship with him. So basically he liked the guy, huh? Strange things happening with the Prophet of Islam, as you see. And this is the website that you can go and read it from.
And once again, mind you, he put the link on his channel. And if you go to the link for all this information, the link is wiped out. They took it down immediately.
Here's also the Arabic reference. Let me keep going. You know, a lot of strange things, as you see.
There's another one. This one is wild too. Muhammad and Zahir bin Haram. All right.
Between Muhammad and many men. And here's a third proof that Muhammad had sexual activities with men. A man named Zahir, who used to declare that the Prophet loves me. Wow. Okay. Said that one day Muhammad crept unawares behind him. So Muhammad came close to him, behind him, without him being aware, and put him in a bear hug. So Muhammad grabbed the guy from behind and hugged him from behind by basically a bear hug. Zahir, alarmed, yelled, "Get off me!" So the guy said, this Zahir guy said, "Get off me." He didn't know who it was. After turning his head and discovering that it was Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, he stopped struggling and proceeded to push his back into the Prophet's chest. So the guy was basically, you know, pushing his backside into the chest of Muhammad. Prayers and blessings upon him. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You know, so the guy was rubbing his ass basically in the Prophet's chest, and Muhammad seems to like it.
Look, man. You talk about a Diddy party? Wow.
Yo, that's all. No
Uh,
wonder when hey, that's all. No wonder when all the them cats go to jail, they go to Islam.
right. Yeah, people don't know that too. Why do you think a lot of people be converting to Islam in prison? They don't tell you that as well too. Right? Then the Lord said in Deuteronomy 28, part of the curses, you're going to have to serve them, the wood and the stone. Right? This is off as hell. It is, man.
Rebuke him, saying, "What are you doing, man? Stop."
That's why,
So
because
we
they can
find
get
that
into
in
they can get into those homo activities,
Time.
and they could try to keep it a secret. That's their little religion secret.
Right.
It's a damn shame.
Yeah, look clean on the outside, but behind the scenes, you're really doing something behind the scenes. Literally.
So like, yeah,
That says.
I just put it in the chat. So basically, you tell me this dude was pushing him off of him until he realized who it was. And then once he realized it was him, he just said basically, "Okay, just take it."
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
off as hell.
Yep. But you see, that's why I said they everybody want to talk about the Israelites and here and there, this and that. No. Let's look at your books now. All right. Let's focus on your Quran, your hadiths, your surahs. Let's focus on your books now. Let's target your prophet. You always talk crap about Yahweh, Christ here and there, and David and this and that, and Moses and all of this stuff. You always talk about Paul in the letters. No, let's talk about your prophets now. You know? Because when it comes to Israel, we could talk about any topic. And we're balanced out. We'll talk about all different type of subjects. But if we need a focus, zero line focus, target, headhunt, you know, with all the scriptures and the arsenals we got and the information, yes, let's target your prophet now. Let's just sit down and let's just have a long conversation a long lesson video about just one specific person and nitpick on every single thing that person did. Because they do that to us all the time. All right? That's why I say, you tell a Muslim your prophet is a homosexual, they'll try to kill you. Because the thought thing, it can't even fathom in their mind. Ain't no way in hell. Prophet Muhammad, all the things that Imam told us about him, the Sheikh told us about him. They said the night of power and all of this stuff. Allah brought a horse down from the third heaven to him, to Prophet Muhammad, and he rode on the horse and flew up to the third heaven and met all the prophets. And then he led them in prayer. And then he spoke with God himself. Even the archangel Gabriel could even do it. Gabriel could even do it. But the Prophet Muhammad did it. Now, let's talk about your prophet now. The unprofitable pedophile, postpartum, P. Diddy party Muhammad. Let's talk about him now. Let's see. He got niggas sitting on his chest. Oh my God.
مسند أحمد السنن الكبرى مغمل الزوائد ومنبع الفوائد and مسكة المصاحب and following are the Arabic reference. Again, you can go and look it up yourself, Muslims, if you don't believe us. It's all over the internet, and as you see, the internet is really a big enemy of Islam, exposing the pervert gay activities, homosexual activities of the Prophet of Islam, hugging a man from behind and the guy liking it and basically, you know, humping, giving the Muslim prophet, the Prophet of Islam, a nice lap dance, basically. Oh man,
right.
Disgusting. Muhammad and Asaid bin Hudayr, he is a fourth shocking evidence about the life of Muhammad engaging in homosexual activities. This is from Sunan Abi Dawood. Sunan Abi Dawood, hadith number 5224, reported by Amr.
And Salaki, each one of these that he's bringing out, it shows the hadiths, it shows where you can go to, you know, to get the recorder of them and everything. Right? So people don't think we making these things up. Right? The Muslims don't even know most of these stuff. They don't research or read none of this stuff. They just talk about the Quran, carry the Quran, act like they're holier than thou and everything. Come to find out your so-called prophet Messiah was a sodomite, flaming, cheese doodle, sugar honey, iced tea tank of walking abomination. Right?
All the way to Al-Ansar said that while he was talking with people and there was a banter between friends, the Prophet came and poked him in his side. So Asaid said, wait. So the Prophet said, I will wait. Asaid said, he have a shirt on you and I do not have one on me. So the Prophet lifted up his shirt. So Muhammad lifted up the shirt and he, Asaid, hugged him and kissed his torso, the part from his belly button to his armpits. And then Asaid said, oh Prophet of Allah, I know you wanted that.
Look at that. What? All right, let's get Romans chapter 1, man. And read verse number 27.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 27. When you get it, say Khan. And likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat.
Right. This is their prophet. Right? Sick as hell, disgusting as hell. You could have had any woman you wanted. And moving like this.
Salakia.
Go ahead, sis.
How is this like not talked about? It's so much like sodomy going on, and no one ever brings it up.
Come. Because these Muslims don't study their own book. That's why.
Hey, Salakia, King.
Go ahead, King.
When you told me you was doing the class tonight, I had no clue you had dug this deep, man, and got this information. I didn't even know this existed. Like the little stuff I sent you was basic. This something else. Man.
Yeah, it get worse. It get worse, and yeah, it says it gets worse.
Hey,
Right?
Salakia.
Go ahead, King.
Hey, bro, you gotta remember, man. This a brother who was living that life, was born into it for 30 some plus years. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no brother that Ahrayah ain't no brother that converted. He ain't nobody. I mean, he ain't nobody that was a Christian first and then found is. Nah, he was raised in that. He knows things. Trust me, he knows things that a lot of these brothers who just now they calling themselves they couldn't possibly. This dude been studying forever, man. You see what I'm saying? Some of this stuff, yeah, he probably found it, on the web as of late. But nah, this brother knows things that people that think they know a lot about Islam don't even know.
Oh. That's why we have part 3, man. And like it says, whatever walk in life that the Most High puts you through, you're supposed to use that experience. Whatever lifestyle you was raised up in, brought up in, you're supposed to repent, come back to the Lord in righteousness. But use that experience in your lifestyle to wake the people up that's still in that type of lifestyle. God? Christian background, all of that stuff, college background, gang violence background, drug dealing, whatever it is, sports, whatever it is, use the lifestyle that you got, that experience, 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, 50 years, 60 years. Don't just disregard that. Don't just give up on that. No, take that and translate it, transfer it into a way to edify your people, to bring them out of that. God? So that's why I'm like, let me just do something pertaining to Islam. Even though I try to run from it, but you got to embrace it, man. Use that information and use it like a weapon. Try to win some souls for the Lord, man. But this nigga's you talk about did he? Did he do it?
Did he harm it?
Right. All right. The one they call Muhammad, the slayer, the Quran holder, the sword swinger. Now we know what you were swinging swords about. All right. Hugged him and kissed. Oh, man. Read that again. All right. Wicked. Like the elder would say, this is wicked. Off.
Wicked as hell, man.
It's going to get worse. Read that again. All
right. This is the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 26. For this cause, Yahweh gave them up unto vile affection. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Right, read on.
27. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meet.
All right, now let's keep going. Let's check this one out.
مستدرك الصحيحين, and the hadith grade is صحيح الإسناد. It's a صحيح chain. It's a perfect hadith. صحيح, صحيح. And here's the Arabic reference, as you see. Allah bin al-Zubayr from his father said, Rasulullah Muhammad, Rasulullah sent me on one cold day when I returned back, and he, with some of his women under his kilt, he made me enter the kilt, and we became 3. And this hadith is again a Sahih al-Isnad, great Sahih. Strange things in the life of Muhammad with other men again.
Now,
Allah bin al-Zubayr.
do y'all see what this is talking about? All right. It's a al-Mustadrak Allah Sahin. We find the following that Abdullah bin al-Zubayr from his father. It's crazy, right?
Close. Where?
God. Hold on.
I think you gotta go to the window.
So basically, it said, Prophet sent him one cold day when I returned back, and he with some of his women under his quilt. He made me enter into the quilt, and we became 3. The hadith grade is Sahih al-Ansad. So what is this talking about? It's talking about Muhammad having a threesome with a man and his wife. Khan?
Man.
This is Muhammad having a Kama Sutra with a man and his wife.
Salakia.
Go ahead, King.
Hey, Ahrayah, since you've been in, you know what I'm saying, you've been so you privy to the Islam. What's the hadith that has the most credibility is that I hear a lot of Muslims talking about?
It's not, no, the hadith is a book of multiple books. It's like, let's say the Bible, right? And you have the book of Genesis, right? Genesis got like about what, like 50 chapters, right? Then you have the book of Leviticus, all the way to the book of Psalms. Psalms got about what? About 150 chapters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the equivalent of the hadith is like the same thing. The hadith is like saying the Bible, but within that Bible, you have what? Genesis, Revelations, you have Leviticus, Exodus, Deuteronomy, right? You got the New Testament part, right? So it's the equivalent saying the same thing. So that's why I said earlier, they'll talk about their Quran and they'll compare the Quran with the Bible. But the book that they really deal with is the hadith. The Quran is just them just reciting. That's it. The hadith is records. The hadith is like testimonies. Right? And then they talk about the 5 pillars. They talk about the, praying 5 times a day, going to the mosque every Friday, for the Jummah, which is basically our Sabbath that they took from us. Praying 5 times a day, facing Mecca, which is basically us facing Jerusalem, which they took from us. The holidays, which they talk about Eid or Ramadan, but it's not just Ramadan or Eid or even the Night of Power. People think it's just 2 Muslim holidays. They have about 9 to 10 holidays. And that's the lesson I did on part 2. The Deception of Islam, the Muslim holidays. And every single Muslim holiday in that video is going to show you it all got stolen from our feast days. So even how they did their hadiths, the same as with our Bible. They took everything. Look, let me show y'all something right real quick. Can y'all still hear me?
Bay from his father said.
Slakia. Let me show y'all this. Where is that? Let me show y'all this.
Salakia, so Khan. So the next time somebody try to tell you that the Bible is a plagiarism of the 42 laws of Ma'at or some BS like that, or you know what I'm saying? Nah, the Quran is plagiarism of the Bible.
Con.
The Bible ain't plagiarized nothing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that, all that other stuff could be debunked too. But basically, the Quran and these hadith, all their whole culture is plagiarism of our culture.
Con. So check this. From the Quran, this is the Quran, from the beginning to the end. So the first surah of the Quran is called Al-Fatiha. Right? This the first surah of the Quran. We say, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, rahmanir rahim, al-maliki yawmiddin, iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Right? All the way on down, Ihdina siratal mustaqim, right? So that's the first surah of the Quran, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the last surah of the Quran, right? If you look at it, it starts from number 1. What this number says? What does this number say on the screen? Can y'all see the screen? Let's see. Shalom, can you hear me?
God.
Okay,
Yeah,
Khan.
blow it up a little.
Oh, all right. Let me blow it up. Slocky. All right. I'm at the bottom left part of the screen. You see what this number says?
Con 114.
Exactly. Now, this is the last book of the Quran. So the Quran within itself has how many surahs? It has 114. Khan?
Con.
Now, it has only 114. How many chapters do the book of Psalms have? A 150. Let me just make sure. How is it the book of Psalms got more chapters than the Quran itself? Right? Yeah, 150. The book of Psalms 150. How is it the book of Psalms in the Bible has more chapters than the Quran itself?
It's because they wasn't even thorough with their plagiarism.
Exactly.
They wasn't even thorough with it. They just did a short piece of work of some BS.
Salaki, the Quran was written by a white man anyway. Muhammad was ignorant. He didn't write the Quran. The Quran was written so that way the Catholics was trying to control the Holy Land. And that's how they came up with Islam, because they were supposed to be like it's almost like setting up terrorist groups. And that's what they did. And Islam became too big for them to control.
That's why they sent Khadijah as a spy. Yeah, I got the verse for that as well too, with Muhammad as well. Yeah. That's why I showed you that example earlier about the show Tyrant. How they took the brother that was in America, brought him back to where? Saudi Arabia, so that they could use him to infiltrate for power and usurp the authority of the original brother. And now he's the president. They'll make one and then they'll break one and create a whole new one. Same thing with Muhammad. Right? So like I was saying earlier as well too, Shalom King, Maccabees in the building.
Shalom, King.
So I was saying earlier, how is it the Quran 114 chapters and the book of Psalms got 150? Now, when y'all talking about y'all trying to compare with the Bible and how many books it got and just from Genesis all the way to Revelations, hundreds of chapters and everything, that's their version equivalent of the Hadiths. Khan? So that's why I said they talk about the Quran and all of this stuff, Muhammad and all of this, but they're basically repeating from their sheikh and their imams. All right, that's why even with the word Quran or Islam, it ties into recite. To basically repeat. Anybody can recite. You can remember your favorite song and now you recite your favorite song. Right? So So where we was at? Let's see. All right, let me show you this part right here.
Rasulullah Muhammad, Rasulullah sent me one cold day when I returned back, and he, with some of his women under his kilt, he made me enter the kilt, and we became 3. And this hadith is again a Sahih al-Isnad, great Sahih. Strange, our way.
So this is Muhammad having a threesome with a man and a woman. All right, but they say he's the last prophet. All right, this one is wild right here, man. This one's going. Let's listen to this one. All right.
Until we came a place called Kaza wa Great Sahih Ahmad. We find the following hadith reported by Aram and Affan all the way to Ibn Mas'ud, who said, Rasulullah wanted me to join him, so we went on our way until we came a place called Kaza wa Kaza, meaning he refused to mention the name of this place, like this place and this place, you know. So he planned for that I should stay little behind him and keep that distance, as if I did not, I will be killed. And that is exactly what I did. Then Rasulullah went ahead a small distance, and he, Muhammad, mentions there are a group of people, and then Affan confirmed the following description of those people. Inshallah, they are naked and I cannot see their genitals. What? Their private parts? Tall and thin. And then Abdullah said, they came and kept riding Rasulullah. What? They came and kept riding Rasulullah, peace and blessing upon him, and Rasulullah kept reading over them. Then Abdullah continues to say, them also to come and rotate around me and stay my way. So I was so terrified from them, so that I sat down until the first light of sunrise when they left. Then Rasulullah came, feeling heaviness and pain because of them being riding him.
Did y'all see what just, boy? Do y'all know what he's talking about that happened with Muhammad?
You don't see that big open stuff?
Huh? Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, Salakia, please mute your phone. So this is Muhammad on his adventures, doing his Diddy thing, right? It said Muhammad met a group of people, and he said they were tall, thin, and basically they were surrounding him, right? And the guy said that Muhammad was being ridden by these people all night. Like they was riding him like he was a camel. Right? But they say this is the last prophet. This is him. This is the last prophet. This is a righteous man. The man was in a threesome with a man. The man is messing with little boys. And now the man is in a damn what they call that? Let's just say a Diddy party with all men all night. And he's been riding like a camel for so long that he met the brother the next morning, got tired, and he had to get some rest. Like TD Jakes. But this is Ishmael's prophet. Khan? The man was in the train ride, I would say. Man, this let me get let me get Judges chapter 19.
God.
Let me get Judges 19. I just thought about this one. Let's get Judges chapter 19 and let's jump to verse number verse 22.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 19 and verse 22. When you got it, say Khan.
Khan.
Now, as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the man that came into thine house,
Right.
that
So
we
that we may know him, right? This is a group of men surrounding the house. Right? Now, what did Abdullah say? He was saying there was a group of people, right? And they were all naked, tall and thin. And they're surrounding Muhammad. Right? Now from there, jump to verse 24, man. A slide, verse 25. Verse 25.
Verse 25. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them. And they knew her and abused her all night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go.
That's what happened to Muhammad. That's literally what happened to Muhammad. Right? Look what it says. They came and kept writing Muhammad, I say right here, Rasulullah, and kept reading over them. And kept reading over them. Right? Them also came to me and rotated around me and stayed in my way. So I was terrified from them. So I sat down into the first light of sunrise when I left. You know, Rasulullah came feeling heaviness and pain because of them writing him.
What? Lord have mercy.
Yeah, this is crazy, man.
It sounds like an LGBTQ soap opera.
Right. This is your Muhammad. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. He gonna fit right in with Nickelodeon.
Now the hadith continues, and you find Muhammad trying to get out of that by saying that those naked people are angels in white robes.
You heard that? He said those naked people were angels in white robes. Wow. Angels in white robes. So what is Muhammad saying now? He's basically saying he was having a intercourse with the angels. Men, get Genesis 19 now.
God.
This nigga wildin', man.
Wildin'.
He was having intercourse with the angels. Get Genesis 19 and verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 19 and verse 1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground.
So what is this story? This is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. The Lord sent the angels to observe, to see the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah so they could bring the judgment. Right? But Muhammad's basically saying the angels came to him so they could have a long talk, a long meeting. They could have a negotiation. Right? They could have one last night in Saudi Arabia. Right? Now from there, jump all the way to verse 4.
Verse 4. But before they lay down, the men of the city even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter.
So you see how Genesis 19 and Judges 19 tie together? The same thing they did in Judges 19, they surround the house, wicked men. They did the same thing in Genesis 19. Con?
Con.
But now he's saying these were angels that he was messing with. But in Genesis 19, the Lord said it was the wicked men that was surrounding the house. And the angels was in the house. Right? Read verse 5 now.
Con. And verse 5. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them.
Look, the same exact thing. Same exact sequence. Nothing new under the sun. Same type of spirits again and again. Read on.
Verse 6. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him.
Right? Now jump to verse number 9.
Con. Verse 9. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one, fellow, came in to sojourn, and he will need to be judged. Now, will we deal worse with thee than with them? And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door.
So these are sodomite men that was trying to get the angels. They was damn near about to break the door to get to these angels. Right? So the angels smite them, made them blind and everything. And then look how furious the angels were. Jump to verse 13 now.
Con. Verse 13. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of Yahweh, and Yahweh hath sent us to destroy it.
See, the Lord have sent the angels to destroy the place. Right? They were seen as messengers. They was here to witness the abomination so they could wipe this place out and justify it. But Muhammad said these angels were naked and they was giving him a train. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Let me see if we can get this one with Heliodorus. This is your good old Islam. Let's get 2 Maccabees chapter 3.
Con.
And it's speaking about an angel, right? 2 Maccabees chapter 3 and give verse number 25.
Con. This is the book of 2 Maccabees in the Apocrypha, chapter 3 and verse 25. When you get it, say Con.
Con.
For there appeared unto them an horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering. And he ran fiercely and smote at Heliodorus with his forefeet. And it seemed that he that sat upon the horse had complete harness of gold.
You see, this is speaking about an angel. He was decked out. He wasn't naked. He was decked out, looking on fire, majestic, gold armor and everything. Con?
Con.
Read the next verse.
Verse 26. Moreover, 2 other young men appeared before him, notable in strength, excellent in beauty, and comely in apparel.
You see, comely in apparel, that means they had a beautiful garment, beautiful outfit. They had some style. They looked majestic, royalty. These are the angels. Read on.
Con. Who stood by him on either side, and scourged him continually, and gave him many sore strips.
Let me get one more about an angel. Let me get Mark 16.
God.
Right? There's another account about an angel that was sitting there waiting for Yahushua. You had one angel that descended from the third heaven, caused an earthquake. Right? In the grave that Yahushua was in, the big rock that was closed, that was used to close the place that he was buried at. The angel was so strong by itself, it moved this big giant rock. And there was a young angel in that cave that was sitting there. Look how he was dressed. Mark 16 and verse number 5.
Khan, this is the book of Mark, chapter 16 and verse 5. When everybody get it, say Khan.
Khan.
Khan. And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment, and they were affrighted.
See, they seen a young man. Now, this is an angel. The angels ain't old looking. They look young. Right? In their prime. He said he was clothed in a long white garment, not naked. Todd? Okay, let's get back to this.
But then why did Abdullah saw them? So why did another guy saw them naked? So it was not only Muhammad who saw them, right? So another guy saw them. So they were basically not angels. They were other males. And why? He saw Muhammad reading Quran on them. And how come angels come as naked and right people? If you're going to say that those are angels. Naked angels? And ride Muhammad? Naked angels riding Muhammad? As you see, this must be demons, right? These must be, as Muslims claim they are. Allah knows best. Now again, the hadith grade is Sahih al-Isnad. No way out of this hadith, my dear Muslim yourself. Modern Imams following Muhammad's footsteps. There are also a lot of gay marriages today in Islam. I kid you not. It must be shocking for a lot of Muslims, but this is true. This Imam in Paris is same-sex married. He fully practiced Islam. He pray and even do hug and opened a mosque for gay Muslims, and he makes them marry the same sex.
Look at that, man. All these religions is mockery. All of this is mockery. Because now what happened? Same thing with the Muslims. What happened with Christianity? The pastors do the same thing as well. Let me show you this real quick. Look at that. They do the same thing as well. Same exact thing as well. American gay pastor shares pictures of him and his partner. Same exact thing as well. Disgusting as hell, man. That's why this place got to burn. All right.
So there's a gay imam in Paris who has his own praying place, who actually practicing Islam, and he marriages, as you see here, men with one another. Gays, gay marriages. And this is happening in a mosque, in a Muslim mosque, guys. Lord have mercy. And this is other imams doing the same in New York. You see two women, lesbian women, gay women, getting married in front of this imam, as you see in front of you. Beautiful, right? So Muslims, we have presented more than enough proof that Muhammad was actually raped by his cousin, by his own cousin. Ibn Ammi hataka ardi. And we showed you also the sexual activities of Muhammad with other men. So your prophet was nothing but a sexual pervert who had really a troubled youth, right? Childhood, basically, sorry. Childhood, a really troubled childhood. And you know, when you encounter such things and you did have sexual activities, in this case with your cousin and your uncle Abu Talib, who we know Muhammad used to sleep with his uncle in the same bed. So Allahu A'lam what his uncle did to him, you know, and his uncle Abu Talib was looking at his naked body and he really liked his body, his naked body of the Prophet of Islam. So Lord knows what happened in that bed. And as we showed you, Muhammad from his own mouth saying, and I quote, quoting the Prophet of Islam, Ibn Ammi hataka ardi, my cousin, the son of my uncle, raped me. Muslims, I hope you really enjoyed this video. And as you saw, we showed you from very authentic Islamic sources that Muhammad had sexual activities, encounters with other men besides his many wives. Either you're going to accept these detailed facts about the...
All right, there's another one. This one is worse too, man. This one gets this one is worse. Let me get Isaiah chapter 1 and 3, Ak.
All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. When everybody get it, say Khan.
Khan.
The ox knoweth its owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider.
Right. The Lord said Israel don't even know and don't even consider who you're supposed to be worshiping right now. You're not supposed to be as a Muslim in a damn mosque or Ramadan keeping all these paganistic holidays. Because you think you come into being a Muslim, you think you're safe. You join Islam, you think you're safe. All right? Same situations you're going through as a Christian, now you're going through as a Muslim. You think you're safe now. All right? Now you got to deal with wickedness like this. From there, let me get Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 9 now.
Khan. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 9. The shoe of their countenance doeth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not.
All right.
Whoa.
So what is this? This is Hadith 16:245. Right? 16245. All right. It says the sayings of the Syrians, chapter title Hadith of Muawad ibn Abu Sufyan. Look what it says right here, man. It says, I saw the prophet sucking on the tongue or the lips of Al-Hassan, son of Ali. May the praise of Allah be upon him. For no tongue or lips that the prophet sucked on will be tormented by hellfire. That's what he said. Right? So it said Muhammad, basically anybody that he kissed, they're already saved. They'll be protected from judgment, from the hellfire. All right? Now, it gets worse. It's going to get worse. It says, he, the prophet, lifted up his shirt lifted up his Al-Hassan's shirt and kissed his little penis. All right. He, the prophet, kissed his little penis of Al-Hassan. He, the prophet, put Hussein's leg apart and kissed his little penis. This is your prophet. This is Ishmael's prophet right here. And this is in the hadiths. Now, who does the same thing as well? Amalek with the rabbis. Who's the other? Let me get this up. Catholic. What is it? Amalek with the Mizi. Catholic. Right? All these pictures with Catholic priests and little boys. But let's get this other one. These gives. All right, here we go. This right here. You see? Same thing right here. Same as Muhammad did this. Same exact thing. With little boys, same as these rabbis do this. Same exact thing. Sick as hell. But he justifies saying it's a circumcision. The Lord ain't say give a kid a circumcision with your mouth. All this is pedophilia. Right? Same exact thing. Wicked as hell. Disgusting. Filthy. And they said this man Muhammad is a Messiah prophet, and he's the last prophet. And he's messing with little boys, man. Literally, man. Look at this. Sure, right. This can be found in Hadith. It's right there. So look it up yourself. See, I got another one. I got one more video. Let me get Isaiah 1:9. Oh yeah, Ryan Garcia was talking about that too. With the Bohemian Grove. All right, he was talking about that as well too, with the Bohemian Grove. And they tied him up. And they molested him and everything. All right. And look, it's going to be the same thing again. Watch
this. In these societies. Aisha, when she was 6, would this be allowed under your system, Daniel? Yeah, I mean, this is something that Heku says, under Sharia, Muhammad was allowed to marry Aisha when she was 6. Would this be allowed under your system, Daniel? Yeah, I mean, this is something that many cultures practice to this day. And it's based on this biological reality. They're trying to maximize the fertility window of women because they want to have more children. And this is basically the way that evolutionary psychologists explain it. And I'm not promoting evolution, but these are people that you would respect, or other atheists. They say that it's actually to an evolutionary advantage to maximize the fertility window so you have as many children as possible, because women only have about 25 to 30 years of fertility. If they wait until they're 25 or 30 or 35 to get married and have kids or have sex, then that means they'll only have maybe 1, maximum 2 children. but this will allow extinction of the population and for the people to be wiped out. And this is why you find it in so many societies in the pre-modern period and even today, because it's biologically hardwired. And you have a discussion actually about whether marrying children who are pubescent,
King.
okay, so around 10.
Yeah, okay.
This guy gave you a very intelligent, intellectual justification for wickedness.
Con,
This is how these people get down.
con,
They justify their wickedness.
con.
Go ahead, King.
This is wild.
Salakia. Yeah, it's intelligent, but it's not facts. Therefore, it's not intelligent. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All it is just that's the way that Esau lies. And it's the same thing that they do in the school system. They teach our people all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's really 50% lies and 50% true. But just because it sounds intelligent, our people eat it up. But what he's saying, what this guy's saying, is no scientific fact to that. A child can't get pregnant at the age of 5. So it's stupid what he's saying.
And
well, Shalaki, and what he and this is why I'm saying that they justify the wickedness too, because they're calling a 6-year-old girl or a 9-year-old girl a woman.
Mm.
You know, not a little girl, not a child. They're saying it's a woman. Go ahead, King.
So
Salakia.
Go ahead, King.
I was gonna say that's why I tell you in Ezekiel that her priests have violated the law and they don't put no difference between the clean and the unclean. I believe Ezekiel 22:26 it tell you that. I you.
Con. And the thing about that's why I started off with saying who the Lord's prophets are and who is not. Ishmael is not a prophet of the Lord. Right? Not at all. The lifestyle of these Islamic people, Ishmael and all these other heathen nations, their spirit cannot keep the laws of God. Right? Let me get 2nd Esdras 3 and verse 31.
Hey, Shalaki, King.
Go ahead, King.
It looks like Arma has her hand up.
Arma,
Arma, you got your hand up, or is that from before?
Khan, actually, I wanted a scripture to come out based off of these idiots circumcising with their mouths. It was Exodus 4:25.
All right, let's get that one first.
Con. She said Exodus 4:25.
Con.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 4 and verse 25. I'm gonna just bring it straight out. Salakia. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me.
Read that again,
Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me.
Right. She cut off the foreskin with something sharp as a weapon, instrument, right? Not with her mouth. Right? She didn't do the circumcision with her mouth. Like Rabbi Schmitzer or Rabbi Schmegma. Right? She used, oh my God, man. The water says, good precept. Oh, man. But Muhammad is down there kissing little boys up and down. Kissing them like a Tootsie Roll. Huh?
No, I just said I'll pray to the Most High.
God. Oh, God Almighty. Let me show this other video right here real quick.
When she was 9.
Let's show this one right here. Now, this is the hadith that they're talking about when it comes to Aisha. Right, it's going to show you this the one. Get straight to the hadith. All right, here we go. Right, so this is book 16, hadith 83. Right, this is the one talking about Aisha. Now, look what it says. Look what it says with this.
Sahih Muslim 33:11, Aisha reported that Allah's apostle married her when she was 7 years old, and she was taken to his house as a bride when she was 9, and her dolls were with her. And when he, the Holy Prophet, died, she was 18 years old. Why was she allowed to play with dolls?
So they said, some say 6, some say 7, right? But when he consummated the marriage with her, it was 9 years old. 9 years old. Let me see. Here we go, right here. Look.
Number 5153, he ties it all together with what the Quran says. But notice the chapter heading, giving one's young children in marriage is permissible. So this is talking about giving children. We're recapping this for a reason. We're about to read the definition of someone with pedophilic disorder. Giving one's young children in marriage is permissible by virtue of the statement of Allah. And for those who have no monthly courses, i.e. they are still immature. So this is talking about sex with girls who have no monthly course. They don't have a monthly menstrual cycle. And it's talking about divorcing them after having sex with them. And it says that the iddah, the waiting period for the girl, so the waiting period before she can get married again after her husband divorces her, the girl before puberty. So this is clearly and indisputably talking about prepubescent girls, girls who haven't reached the age of puberty. So you marry a girl, divorce her, then she has to wait 3 months before she can marry another guy, all before she's reached the age of puberty. She can be married multiple times, all before.
Now, why is this important? Because check this right here. Look what Amalek does. If y'all see, this is speaking. This is a book page that I have. It's called the Babylonian Talmud, and it showed a comparison between the Talmud and the Bible. Right. Look what Sanhedrin 54b says. It says, approves of sodomy. If one committed sodomy with a child of less than 9 years, no guilt is incurred. Right? It's what Amalek. This is the book that they follow. Sodomy. So the key point in this, we're talking about a child that's 9 years old. Now, when did Muhammad consummate the marriage with this little girl? When she was 9 years old. Khan? Wicked as hell.
Khan.
Now, this is the book that Amalek follows. They talk about the Torah, but they actually follow the Talmud. So all of this tied together. Everything ties together. They wicked as hell. Sodomy, pedophilia. Let me get 2nd Esdras 3 and 36.
Khan, this is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 3. Salakia, this is the book of 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 3 and verse 36. Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen.
You see, only the children of Israel is going to be keeping the laws of God. The rest of the heathens, they'll get a chance. They still won't do right. They will not do right. Right? Let me show this one last video. Like the elder would say, wicked. Where's this video at? All right, this is the one right here. The homosexuality in the Islamic world. Now this one's gonna get wild too, man. But the Muslims ain't gonna talk about none of this stuff. You know?
Hi, welcome to Al Muqaddimah. My name is Siavish. Today we're going to talk about homosexuality is often objected upon by people. Before we begin, I'd like to say two things. First, the term Islamic or Islamic world is often objected upon by people because it seems to imply that Islam is responsible for whatever the topic of discussion might be. Here, as in all of my videos, the term Islamic world is used for its geographical meaning. The world that comprised of empires that called themselves Muslims. Of course, this is a huge region, going at times from Spain to India, and not everyone followed the same practices and social norms. Second, there was a lot of pederasty in the Islamic world. Older or even old men often had sex with underage children, mainly boys. In the modern times, we call that rape. This video isn't about that. I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about that in a video about homosexuality because they're two completely different things. But I know a lot of people will mention it in the comments, so I just wanted to address it here. Let's continue. Now, this is not a theology channel, but Islam's stance on homosexuality is related to its history, and so we must talk about it. Most, if not all, scholars of Islam maintain that homosexual acts are forbidden in Islam. In the modern era, there are some who are starting to find room for homosexuality, but before the modern era, there were no scholars, at least to my knowledge, who tried to reconcile homosexuality with Islam. If the prohibition was merely in the hadiths, there could have been some room for discussion, but the Quran itself makes it quite clear with the story of the Prophet Lut and the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah for homosexuality. So, according to all schools of thought, it is forbidden. However, there's a range of opinions about the punishment for it, but like I said, this isn't a theology channel. This prohibition, however, didn't stop people from doing it. Before the modern era, there wasn't such a thing as a sexual identity. People could indulge in homosexual acts without having it contribute to their identity, especially in the Islamic world where there was such a thing as homosexuality, but not such a thing as a homosexual. Of course, there were other identities that sometimes overlapped with sexuality. For instance, there were women who dressed like men, and this contributed to their identity, but they could have sex with either men or women, and it had nothing to do with how they dressed. Although I found it quite interesting that Ibn Sina, or as he's known in the West.
So you see what he's talking about? It wasn't labeled as a homosexual, even though they practiced the act. Right? Even though they was living in sin. Like even today, like they said in the Christian church, you know, come in as you are. God doesn't hate the sinner, he just hates the sin. Same as with Ishmael, same as with the Muslims. Right? Let me get Proverbs 17 and 15. And this is a whole video on the LGBT madness in Islam. Even their sheikh, their imams, all of them. It's going to expose it all. Let me get Proverbs 17 and 15.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 15. When everybody get it, say Khan.
Khan.
Khan. Khan. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
Proverbs 17 and 15. That's a good precept, though.
Khan.
Yeah.
The book
Proverbs
of
17
Proverbs.
verse 15.
Salakia. The book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 15. He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to Yahweh.
Right. So when people talk about God just hates the sin, not the sinner, right? He could practice homosexual acts. You know, that don't define who you are. No, the Lord is saying you the wicked. And if you're trying to back that person up and try to justify it, you're the wicked as well. Khan?
Khan.
You got to tell the truth. These Muslims for years acting like they're holier than thou, righteous, pure. I used to be one of them. That's how I was thinking before. When I was Muslim, Islam, I never thought the Bible was correct, whatever. Said it was made up and this and that, all of this stuff. And now look what the Lord did. Now I'm teaching against the Quran. All right, teaching the Bible. Look what happened with Paul. Paul went from I don't know, y'all talking about Christ and this and that. Y'all preaching the pagan God and all of this stuff. Y'all trying to change us and trying to destroy us. And now he's going hard for Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That goes for all of us in all different walks of life. Con?
Let
me see.
Avicenna actually talks about homosexuality being a state of being rather than just an act.
See, he said a state of being and just an act. Oh my God. Yeah.
Though he considered it an incurable disease. Of course, even if you had homosexual relations, you were still expected to be part of a familial unit and have children. As long as you did that, there was no dishonor or anything like that for having sex with a person of the same gender. In fact, it wasn't even scandalous.
You hear that? They said as long as you had a family, you could sleep with anybody, any man, woman, whatever, children, as long as you had a family. Why? Why did they say that? Because they want you to put out a certain image. That's why. They want you to put out that image of you just a family man. You know? Function in society. Right? You a father with a beautiful wife and children to make them all look good. But behind the scenes, you can sleep with anybody. You can sleep with any men, little boys, whatever. As long as you keep that good image out there for all of us. Look how wicked that is, man.
That's right.
That's crazy. So think about it. The Muhammad is a so-called Messiah prophet for the Muslims. And he's practicing in homosexual acts. And now they saying they condemn it. Do you really believe them? Hell no. Hell no. How are you going to try to condemn the person that helped create your religion? We ain't going to fall for that. And like Maccabee said earlier, Islam was created by the Catholics. Muhammad was used as a damn plant. But what happened? Their plan backfired. They was trying to get the land of Jerusalem. Their plan backfired. That's why Muhammad's mission was to try to get what? Jerusalem. He had to learn from the Israelites and all of this stuff, praying towards the east, towards Jerusalem. And then later on, once he took what he had to take information, while his wife named Khadijah, who was a spy, who was funding him all the money behind the scenes, what happened? It backfired on him. And then he used the verse in Genesis chapter 17, where the Lord says he's going to make Ishmael a great nation, and use that to galvanize his people. But this same Muhammad is practicing in homosexual acts. A sodomite. And he's the Messiah. He's your prophet. He's the last prophet. This is wild, man. Let me see something. Duarte says, yeah, she's putting all the stuff and then there you go. It's on the group chat as well. It's on the chat message. So look.
This was certainly true for two of the Islamic monarchs who preferred to have sex with men.
See, talk about the monarchs. These are kings that had absolute power. Right? And it said they preferred to have intercourse with men over the women. Monarchs. You can have any woman you want. Then the Lord said Ishmael is going to make them a great nation, 12 princes. You can have any woman you want. Same as with, who was it? Same as with Artaxerxes in the book of Ezra and Esther. When he was searching for a woman, he looked for all the women all throughout the kingdom and got him a new queen. He replaced Vashti with Esther. You can have any woman you want, but you want to mess with men.
First, Abbasid Caliph Al-Amin Harun.
And got the names and the facts, right? Abbasid Caliph Al-Amin. right? Harun al-Rashid, son and successor, had a preference for eunuchs. Now look at now this way get crazy. Why, man?
Al-Rashid's son and successor had a preference for eunuchs. He began appearing.
See, he had a preference for eunuchs. Remember, what was Ishmael doing to us during the sub-Saharan slave trade? What did he do to the men? Right? He turned them into eunuchs. Khan? He turned them into eunuchs. Sick as hell, man. Let me get let me see. Let's get Acts 8 and 27. Acts 8 and 27.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 8 and verse 27. When you get it, say Khan.
Khan.
And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, an eunuch of great authority.
Right. It said a eunuch. That's what he said. That's a eunuch. A man of Ethiopia, a eunuch of great authority. Read on.
Under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had the charge of her treasure, and had come to Jerusalem for to worship.
See, that's a eunuch. Now let's get 2 Kings 9. And let's get verse 30.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 9 and verse 30. When you get it, say Khan.
Khan.
Khan. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tired her head and looked out at a window.
Right. So this is Jehu meeting Jezebel to slaughter her, slay her. Right. Because she's wicked as hell. Right. Read on.
And as Jehu entered in Salakia, and as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, Had Zimri, peace, who slew his master.
Right. Read on.
And he lifted up his face to the window and said, Who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs.
You see? So what happened? Jezebel had eunuchs around her. Right? Now remember, Jezebel's moving in the spirit. She's a woman moving in the spirit of a masculine man. So in order for her to feel comfortable, feel like she's a head bitch in charge, she had to do what? She had to effeminize the men around her. Huh? So she turned the men around her eunuchs. Which means what? She cut off their privates. Ishmael did the same thing. And remember, Ishmael is known as a slave trader. Right? They said the monarchs is messing with men. And most preferably who? Eunuchs. Let's get Joel chapter 3. And Joel chapter 3, and let me show you another one. There you go. There's a book I had to speak about exposing this transatlantic slave trade, right? not the Slocky, not the slave trade. The Arab slave trade. Right. This is page 343. Can y'all see the screen?
Khan.
It says Persian Muslim scholar Ibn Sina, aka Avicenna. Right now, it is talking about Avicenna. Remember we was talking about earlier. It's going to show you right now where he's at. Where's this guy at? There we go.
First Abbasid Caliph Al-Amin, Harun al-Rashid's son and successor, had a preference for eunuchs. He began appearing with them in public. This was quite scandalous in Abbasid Iraq in the 9th century, either men or women, and it had nothing to do with how they dressed. Although I found it quite interesting that Ibn Sina, or as he's known in the West.
All right, here we go. Remember this guy right here? Ibn Sina? Right? The same guy I see on the screen, Khan. All right. All right. The same exact guy. Look what he said. This is him right here. This book is exposing him right here. Look what he said. From 930 to 1087 AD. It says he described blacks as people who are by their very nature slaves. Right? He wrote, all African women, he's basically by our people, are prostitutes. And the whole race of African men are abid, which means slave stock. So you look at the men as slave stocks and the women as prostitutes. He wrote, describe black people as rats plaguing the earth. That's how Ishmael look at us today. And that's how they treat us today. Right? Another one, Ibn al-Faqih al-Hamadhani, he says, was a 10th century AD Persian scholar. He described the Bantu Israelite slaves as Zani blacks, are overdone until they are burned. So he's marking on skin color. So that the child comes out between black, murky, malodorous, stinking, crinkly haired, with uneven limbs, deficient minds, and depraved passions. This is how they think about us. This is how Ishmael think about us. So as we, go ahead, sis.
And knowing we are royalty.
Right. When we're royalty. That's the hatred and envy they got against us. So now it says, hold on, let me make sure y'all can see it. Here we go. So as one can see, the hatred of blacks by the light-skinned Muslim Arabs was so deep that they made sure that the female black slaves were used only for sexual purposes, and the black man could not pass his paternal lineage down in the Middle East by using the practice of castration. Castration. What is castration known as? Turning a man into a eunuch. Khan?
Khan.
That's why I said the monarch, he favored men that were eunuchs. Guess who the men that he favored? It was our people. This ensured that the Middle East will remain filled with new light-skinned, non-Arab Persian and Arabicized turned Muslim people from the north, Asia Minor, Turkey, Kurdistan, Syria. Today, this customer-selected breeding in the Middle East and America is still practiced among the Arabs. See, Ishmael keep the same customs to this day. Arab men will have sex with black women, but will rarely marry them. What is that talking about? The women taking the trip to where? Dubai. Messing with our women over here in America today, all over. Arab women are essentially forbidden to marry black men, African American in America. If they do, they are usually treated as outcasts. Like other races, light-skinned Arabs typically marry light-skinned Arabs. Indians marry Indians, Jews marry Jews, and Asians typically marry Asians or whites. The practice of the selective breeding is for millennia. It's the same thing going on today. But our people want to follow Islam. They want to be in these mosques, bowing their heads 5 times a day for a damn rock. They talking about Ishmael's their Ak. That's my brother. That's my Aki. Buying a damn vanilla Dutch from him. Buying liquor from him. Pork. All things. Chopped cheese. Everything. Not knowing he hates your guts. This is cold, man. Let me see. So back to this homosexual monarch.
Appearing with them in public. This was quite scandalous in Abbasid Iraq in the 9th century, but primarily because it seems that Al-Amin was spending too much time with them instead of running the empire. So his
Look at that. They say he was spending too much time with the men instead of ruling his empire as a king. You talk about a Diddy party, boy. Look at these Islamic Muslims. Look at Ishmael. But they don't talk about this. They don't mention none of this. They act like they're perfect. They're holier than thou.
His mother, Queen Zubaydah, prepared a counter-attraction for him by dressing up beautiful girls in the clothing that was worn by eunuch servants at the time. Since
You ever seen that? You ever seen pictures of like you ever seen picture of peoples that was dressing in women clothing but they had long beards?
Yup, looking weird as hell.
Yeah. And then you ever seen pictures like the TV the movie Mulan? She was a woman dressed as a man in a battle armor. That's what this monarch's mother did for him, because he was so attracted to men that she had to trick him by bringing a woman as dressed as a man just to please him. Just so she could try to pass the family line going on to the next generation. So he could try to have kids. Because he wasn't worried about ruling the empire. He was worried about sleeping with men. But Ishmael ain't never going to bring this one out.
Al-Amin began appearing with them in public, this started quite a trend of women wearing masculine clothes.
You see? Now it started a trend of the women in their society starting to wear male clothes. Right? Because what? If the queen does it, everybody gonna do it. The king does it, everybody gonna do it. So now they set in trends. Like they do in society today with the celebrities. Everybody worships the celebrities. So whatever the celebrities do, everybody follows.
Clothing. Second, we know that Caliph Al-Hakam II of Cordoba had a preference for men. This got to such a level that he didn't...
See, another one, a Khalifa, is like a king. So these are Muslim kings. These are Islamic kings. Sodomites. But Ishmael would never mention this. And this is after Muhammad.
Even touch women, and hence he couldn't produce an heir. His wife, Sub, had to cut her hair and start dressing up like men. She was even given the nickname of Jafar, a male name.
Now, do any of y'all know the name Jafar? Remember that movie, Aladdin? Remember Jafar? Yeah. It says because her husband wasn't attracted to her as a woman, she had to dress like a man. And this is Ishmael.
Jafar was also the name of Al-Hakam's closest friend from childhood.
You see? And that's a boy. So in their childhood, they was probably messing around because that was part of their culture.
Al-Hakam wasn't able to produce his first heir till he was 46. Other than these two, we know stories of many homosexual relationships between monarchs and their courtiers. We know that Al-Hakam II's father, Abdurrahman III, had a male harem as well as a female harem.
Look at that. So it's speaking about this monarch king It wasn't just him that was a homosexual. His father as well, too. Look at that, man.
Shalaki King,
Go ahead, King.
I have never heard of a male harem.
Yeah,
Wow. So you just have a whole bunch of fancy boys waiting around. That is wicked as hell.
God.
I never heard about that. Go ahead, King.
God, they're being exposed, Doc. This is wicked, disgusting. Same as the father, same as the son. His son is a monarch, and he can't even look at his wife because she's like a woman. And he loved his best friend, little boyfriend, so much. He had his wife dressed like how his best friend looked. Little sodomites.
Shalaki King.
God.
Now, I'm wondering if they got that from Esau or if that was just inherent in them as well. Because Esau, the Greeks kind of had a similar type of culture. They only really used women for making babies,
Mm-hmm.
right? They would draw pictures of the female, you know, the vagina with teeth and claws and things like that to show
God.
that it was evil.
God.
So if he had his wife dress up like a man for her to be appealing, that's on the same level of what Esau was doing.
God. Now, the thing about that, guess who Ishmael got it from?
Thinking he got it from Esau.
Yeah, he got it from Esau. Because remember, the Greek Empire came before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Salaki.
Go ahead, King.
But then you got to think, Esau's grandchildren made it with Ishmael's children. So going all the way back, Esau and Ishmael have always been in marriages and had children together. That's why today you got the Ottoman Turks and you got all these what they would call a mix up of Edomites and Arabs. These what is Kim Kardashian them?
Oh yeah.
Whatever the hell.
What is it? Armenian.
Yeah, Armenians. These people really nothing but a mix of Esau and Ishmael, right? But really, they're either Ishmael or Esau, depending on who their father is. So yeah, of course, yeah, they get it from Esau because the scriptures say what? There's no profane person on the earth as profane as Esau, right? But when you go all the way back to Amalek and then the Dukes and all of these Edomites, it tells you like Eliphaz and the lineage, they were marrying Ishmaelites. So of course, all the perversion, they were doing it together, but they got it from Esau.
God. And good point, Ak. The danger in that too is, especially the Ottoman Empire, that was a mix of Esau and Ishmael. And you know what's funny about that? Is how the Lord ties everything together. Remember, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To what? Abraham, Ishmael, and Esau. Right? Ishmael and Esau didn't get the covenant. So what happened? The Lord had them team up to go against Jacob. Yeah, Ishmael team up with Esau to try to go against Jacob. Right? And they do that all the time. Like Yeshaya was saying with Genesis chapter 36. Let's get that real quick. Let's get Genesis chapter 36.
Salaki. Genesis 26 and 36, correct?
36 and 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 36 and verse 1. When you get it, say Khan.
Khan.
Khan. Now these are the generations of Esau. Who is Edom?
Right? Esau is Edom. Read on.
Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite.
Right? So he took one of the Hamites, right? Now from there, get Genesis 28 and verse 9 now.
Con, this is the book of Genesis 28 and verse 9.
Yeah. Genesis 28 and 9.
Con. Then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebuchadnezzar, to be his wife.
Right? So that's Esau linking with Ishmael. Con?
Con. Oh, wow.
Now, watch this. History is going to repeat itself. Because a lot of people say Esau is the Arabs and all of that stuff. And, you know, Esau is not the white man. He's the Arabs. No, nigga.
First Maccabees chapter 5, verse 39.
Con. Yeah, that's the one.
God.
Good. Let's bring it out, What verse you want to start at?
Salakia, man, I was writing down the precept. Exactly what did you call it? Genesis what?
I couldn't hear you. I got switched over.
Now I said, what verse you wanted to start at in First Maccabees?
Nah, just start at just go ahead and bring out 39. We ain't even gonna go too long. I don't want to throw the subject out too much.
All right. Let's get First Maccabees chapter 5 out.
Con, this is the book of First Maccabees in the Apocrypha, chapter 5.
And
start
at verse number 3.
Con, at verse 3. Then Judas fought against the children of Esau and Idumea at Arabatim.
Right? So Judas fought against Esau. Now Esau had back and he had a backup. Jump to verse 39 now.
Verse 39. He hath also hired the Arabians to help them, and they have pitched their tents beyond the brook, ready to come and fight against thee. Upon this, Judas went to meet them.
So what did Esau do? Because he couldn't beat Israel, he hired the Arabs to help him. Same thing again. History repeats itself. All right? Like they doing today. Why think they let all these Arabic people around our blocks and our neighborhoods? They hide them, they get their gas station. They get their chicken spot. They get the corner stores. They open up all these shops. Why? It's used to oppress us. Keep us down. Same exact thing. Khan?
Salaki. Just for the record, for everybody, that's a cut for when people try to say Esau is the Arabs. Just go straight to First Maccabees, chapter 5, verse 39. You could play with the other scriptures in between. It's like verse 3, and there's a couple other ones that really just bring the topic out. But verse 39 kills that Esau is the Arabs theory. Because Esau can't be the Arabs if they hired the Arabs.
Right.
And this is another reason why they don't want us to read the Apocrypha.
Shem Mashiach Yahushua. Banging on these Muslims. All right, so let's get back to this damn lone monarch, flamboyant, Sugar Hill gang, male harem only.
We know that Al-Mu'tamid, the emir of the Taifa of Seville, was in love with a poet named Ibn Ammar. Wherever slave soldiers were involved, there was almost always a sexual relationship between the monarch and one or more of his trusted men. Some famous examples involve Mahmud of Ghazna and Malik Ayaz, Alauddin Khilji and Malik Kafur, and of course the Mamluks of Egypt were famous for it too. It was even so common among the Ottoman soldiers that they often appointed someone to keep an eye on new soldiers and their superiors.
Look at that, see? Same as with the Ottoman Turks, the Ottoman soldiers. Same as with the Roman army. They all do the same exact thing. Sick as hell, man.
In the Islamic world, we usually don't see egalitarian homosexual relationships between two people of a similar social class. They were almost always between people of different social classes, monarchs and servants or slaves, Sufi teachers and their students, etc.
You see? So that's what they were saying. When it's two different classes, then as long as one is dominant over the other, then they can have that relationship. It's the master and slave relationship. That's how it was with Ishmael. And that's sick as hell, man.
Sir.
Speaking of Sufis, one area where we often imagine homosexuality being common is Sufism. Sufi poetry is full of seemingly homoerotic themes and mentions love between men again and again. So naturally, it is often interpreted as being sexual in nature, but that's way too simplistic a view of this poetry. Obviously, it's not always easy to tell whether that love is just platonic love between two friends or if it's romantic, and even if it's romantic, does it involve sex? I mean, in the modern mind, Rumi and Shams Tabrizi were lovers in the night time, but that doesn't really seem to be the case. Of course, Rumi loved Shams Tabrizi, there's hardly any debate about that, but it's tough to tell what kind of love that was. Rumi was an adherent to the Sharia and he explicitly talked against sodomy, so we can assume that their relationship wasn't sexual. However, that wasn't the case for all Sufis. Sufis spanned the entire spectrum in regards to their adherence to the Sharia. Some Sufis stuck to the Sharia to the finer details, while some rejected it almost completely. While none outright admit to having sex with other men out of the fear of Orthodox Muslims, there are inferences here and there. This also extended to the concept of Shahidbazi. To grossly simplify the concept, Shahidbazi is the idea that you can love God by loving one of God's creations, which mostly meant beautiful men and boys. Again,
Did y'all hear that? So they twisted to the way of you showing love to the Lord by showing love to his creations. Right? And they're targeting what? The men, little boys. That's what they're targeting. Let me show you this one. Let me see. Let's see, 76 and 19. There we go. Let me see. Surah. Here we go. This is surah a lot of people bring out as well too, right? This is Surah Al-Insaniyat, right? 76 and that's Surah 76, verse or ayah 19, right? It says, this is a translation for this one, Abu Ali Mahdud. It says, their boys of everlasting youth shall go out about attending them. They speak about them in heaven. And when you see them, you would think that they are scattered pearls, right? So they're talking about little boys in heaven, and they're liking them, and they're liking the little boys unto beautiful pearls, right? That's what they talk about the Muslims. They talk about jihad and 70 virgins and all this stuff. No, you looking at little boys, man. They liking the little boys, like same as Muhammad uncle, liking them unto like a beautiful pearl. Say he smelled nice and everything. This the ways of the pedophile.
How far you can go in this was debated. Could you just appreciate their beauty? Could you love them? Or could you even have sex with them? Among the advocates of Shahidbazi, we find names such as Jami, Attar, and Hafiz. Like I said before, none explicitly advocated for sex. Some people even interpret this love for other men in poetry to be a metaphor for their devotion to God. But then why use the metaphor of men and not women? Because a lot of Islamic philosophy was inspired by the ancient Greeks, and they usually mentioned the love between two men in their poetry.
You see, a lot of the Islamic philosophy was of ancient Greek, right? Like with the Greeks.
That's right.
Same as with Alexander the Greek. And if y'all seen that movie, Alexander the Great, he always had his boy level with him on all his trips. Everywhere he went. Right? The customs of the Greeks, Elder Zabak always bring it out, especially on the Feast of Tabernacles, and he'll bring it out, Day of Judas Maccabees as well too. Right? Or Hanukkah. Talk about the Greek customs, the heathenistic customs, and how they have little boys and grown men messing with little boys, Alexander, all of this disgusting, nasty stuff. Right? The wrestlers and these sports players.
That's right.
Wrestling naked. And now look what's happening today. Look at all these celebrities. Look at all these sports players. Look at Dwight Howard. All these players getting caught red-handed. Snuck into the back door of a Diddy party with Muhammad and the Dalai Lama.
This was so common that, unless otherwise stated, an ancient Greek reader would normally assume that any kind of love mentioned in literature was between two men, contrary to most modern readers who'd usually assume that it was between a man and a woman.
Right.
The Islamic world in the late medieval and early modern periods imagined a lot of lesbian stuff going on in the harems, but there's hardly any mention of it in Islamic sources. One example I found interesting and funny is from a Venetian envoy at the court of the Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, who writes that if women of the harem wanted cucumbers, they were sent to them sliced, so they wouldn't use them for pleasure-related purposes. How much of this is reality and how much is just fantasy is tough to tell. Though this is probably almost completely fantasy, because there's basically no way that the envoy would know what went on in the harem. We do know of one example from Abbasid Caliph al-Hadi's era. He was Harun al-Rashid's brother and predecessor. He beheaded two women in his harem because he had caught them in a lesbian affair. There are some mentions of female homosexuality outside the harem. There are even female poets who wrote about female lovers in the same way that male poets often wrote about male lovers. Though unfortunately, we only know of these poetesses due to them being mentioned in passing, and their poetry hasn't survived in large numbers. Interestingly, Muhammad al-Idrisi mentions that women who were intelligent often took female lovers because they didn't want to submit to the wishes of men. It also seems that Ottoman hammams or bathhouses were quite an attraction for ladies to see their female lovers. So much so that Orthodox Muslims took the matter to the Sultan, who appointed guards to some bathhouses. Although I can't...
So this category is speaking about lesbianism also in Islam. Right? So you got the homosexual aspect, lesbianism also in Islam as well. Right? So Islam is not perfect. It's filthy, it's disgusting. But they will never tell you that. Right?
As Iran. Additionally, Muslims forbidden. There's various ideas on how early Muslims reacted to homosexuality. One idea is that homosexuality was already quite common in some of the areas that the Muslims conquered, such as Iran. Additionally, Muslims started studying Greek philosophy, which clearly had homoerotic themes, so Islamic philosophy, and in particular poetry, helped normalize these ideas. Credibility is lent to this idea by the fact that most pre-Islamic Arabic poetry used metaphors involving female lovers and not male lovers, but slowly poetry began to shift toward male lover metaphors. For more
Hey,
credibility,
Shalaki.
we can see that when discussing homosexuality,
And it's quite understandable that there would be a high rate of lesbianism as well, because if all of the men are, you know, kind of taking care of each other, the women are going to be left out.
Right.
And also the way the society is set up, where they kind of separate the men from the women, it's also, you know, it's going to definitely be going on. Because if you're putting the boys with the boys and the girls with the girls, and you kind of keeping them separate, it's going to definitely grow in that community. You know, so it's a very wicked thing, but it's something based on how they function. Yeah, you could understand it. Go ahead.
And like Shemaiah was saying, you know, all of this stuff, that's why we got the laws and the commandments of God to bring order and structure. So we don't have to deal with all this garbage and all this confusion and nonsense. God?
sexuality in the medieval Islamic world, there's a huge emphasis on people's passive and active roles during intercourse, just like there was in ancient Greece. We also cannot put aside the impact that gender-based segregation in the Islamic world must have had on the development of homosexuality as a necessity. While homosexuality was
That's exactly what I was just saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. You keep separating boys from girls and, you know, men from women, and there's a whole many videos online where you see they have their functions and the men are grinding on each other. The men are literally grinding on each other in these Muslim events. So there you go. Go ahead, King.
Yeah. It speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Was quite common, premarital heterosexual intercourse, or zina, doesn't seem to be that common. This was certainly what Al-Jahiz had in mind when he wrote that homosexuality came to the Islamic world from Khorasan when, during the Abbasid revolution, their commander, Abu Muslim, forbade his men from having contact with women. Now, while it was normalized, it was still criminalized. In early history, we do find examples of people being punished for homosexuality, but later on, these examples become increasingly rare. As a result, the Islamic world developed, as Stephen Murray calls it, the will not to know. It became an open secret. You could have sex with a person of the same gender, but let's not talk about it.
Look at that.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Right. There you go, Ak. Don't ask, don't tell.
Oh my gosh. This is crazy.
That's why they want to keep an image of we're perfect, we're holy, and all of this stuff. Same as with the Christianity, same thing with the Islams.
Now, a lot of people think that the Ottoman Empire decriminalized homosexual acts in 1858, but that's not really true. Suleiman the Magnificent's law code had actually criminalized it, but the punishment was mostly just a fine.
Wow. So instead of you putting them to death, you just give them a fine, that's it.
You get a jaywalking ticket.
Right.
You get some community service.
Right, community service.
This stands in stark contrast to Europe, where in England and Germany, the punishment at the same time was death. This was also the era when female characters in theater were played by young boys in Elizabethan England. The same was true for most of the rest of the Islamic world. However, like I mentioned, charges were usually not brought up against anyone in the Islamic world. This was because you need witnesses to prosecute someone, and if an act was committed in private, then technically you couldn't be prosecuted for it. So in practice, sodomy was okay in private. But then again, most things are legal if no one catches you. The 1858 Penal Code.
Look at that, man. So, closing off with the class. Yeah. This the hidden world of Muhammad and the hidden parties that all these sheikh and these imams, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun.
Very wicked.
There's nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
Let me get Joel chapter 3.
On.
Right. And go to verse 3.
On. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 3. When everybody get it, say con.
Con.
Con. Tell ye children of it, and let your children tell their children.
Joel chapter 3 and verse 3.
Salakia, King. Joel chapter 3 and verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
See, they gave a boy for an harlot. Right? Same as literally, they took a boy and sold him off. Like same as with Esau in Deuteronomy 28. Sell our children as slaves, sell us off as slaves, all that stuff. Transatlantic slave trade, sub-Saharan, Arab slave trade, even with Moab, the Silk Road slave trade. Right? And turn the boys into harlots. You turn them into a eunuch, and then you molest them. That's crazy, man. Dress the boy as a girl and molest him. Read on.
9, verse 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre, and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
Right. The Lord's talking about payback. You sold my children, you tortured them. This is what I'm going to do to Dubai.
MI6 agent Imogen Salter.
You destroy my people. You make them suffer. Molest them. All type of wickedness. This is what I'm going to do to your place. And I'm just starting. Look at this. Flooded. Heaviest rainfall in 75 years. Look at this.
But you know what's going on with Dubai as well. They've been messing around with cloud seeding. Right? So they've been, getting them planes to go up in the sky and pour those things into the cloud, like the salt or whatever they pour in the clouds to develop rain. So because the desert, it rains, but not on the level that we see in other parts of the earth. So to have a flood on this level, I mean, everything is of the Most High, definitely. But yeah, I mean, they got some of the most expensive cars in the world. So this is billions and billions of dollars, which is literally nothing for them. But it's still a kick in the face.
It's going to get worse. Same as the Lord jacked up Mecca with their cobblestone. Everything is going to get worse. None of these nations going to escape the judgment. None of them.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, the amount of flooding that I'm seeing here. is tremendous.
Yeah, none of them going to escape the judgment. And Dubai with all his riches and his money stunting, looking like they got the kingdom of heaven on earth, having a good time, flexing on everybody, flying to women, black women, and here and there, all over different parts of the country, just so they could defile them.
Yeah, and they heavy with the slavery still today, man.
Right. God.
They take a lot of like the Africans who go over there for work. They take their passports and kind of just lock them up on their compound, try to make them slaves. They do that. Like, it's crazy how often they do that.
Yeah, but the judgment is coming, man. People want to follow even the old block. They want to be Muslims and all of this stuff. When the Lord start wiping out these Ishmaelites.
Let me not make that joke. I'm about to say I see why they always bending over for prayer. They straight bending over for prayer all the time, man.
Oh man.
But this is some crazy information that you brought up, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I put them all. Let me see if I put them all. Just make sure I put the links.
Hi, welcome.
Evil, wicked. Let me just make sure I put it in the chat.
I mean, it seems all of these heathen nations got that wicked spirit, man. On that level of homosexuality, pedophilia. Now, the only nation that I'm not sure if they get down on that level is Moab.
In what?
In terms of the homosexuality.
Oh
and
yeah, they do.
Pedophilia.
Yeah, they do. They one of the worst. Yeah, Moab is one of the worst. Remember, he was founded on incest.
True.
You know.
True.
So they one of the worst. But hopefully I learned one thing. By the grace of how about Shemi Rashad, just show the wickedness of these heathen nations. Exposing the deception of Islam and exposing its lies. All the abominations. All the wickedness that they do, man. And our people are still stuck into it to this day. But that's why it's our job to wake them up. One soul at a time. One soul at a time. Let me get one more. Let me get one last one precept out. Let me get Habakkuk 2 and verse 18.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 14.
18. 18.
And verse 18.
Read from verse 18 to verse 20.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, starting at verse 18. When everybody got it, say Khan. What profiteth the graven image, that the maker thereof have graven it, the molten image, and the teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusteth therein, to make dumb idols? Woe unto him that saith to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the
Hold it
midst.
right there. Ak. Hold it right there. Ak.
God.
Let me just add insult to injury. Hold that and get Jeremiah 14. And
God.
no, slack it. Jeremiah 23 and 21.
God.
And then finish it off with that verse.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 21. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied.
Right. The Lord didn't send Muhammad.
God.
Yeah, he lied on the Lord. Say he the last prophet. I didn't tell him to go speak and teach and lie to the people, but he still did it. Now ended off with Habakkuk 2 and verse 20.
God. This is verse 20. But Yahweh is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him.
Right. Because the Lord is going to shut it down. When it's time for Yahweh Shem Yahshua to speak, the whole earth is going to shake. Then you're going to know who the prophets of the Lord are. Huh?
God.
God.
That pedophile, P. Diddy, peddler, PPP, take that, jihadi prophet Muhammad, the Lord did not send him. With that, praise Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Hopefully I was edified. Thursday night class, Deception of Islam Part 3. Call me inshallah.
Call me inshallah.
Oh,
We learned a lot about Muhammad Didi.
Hell no.
That's his new name, Muhammad
Oh
Didi.
my gosh, Sharala.
Call me inshallah.
Praises, all praises.
That man
Praise
said
God.
Muhammad Diddy. All praises. Good.